Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
TexAgs Live.
I feel like I should be listening to the theme song from the Jeffersons. You know, we're moving on up.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
The best way for us to win is to do it together.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
It's been special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
100%. Ready to go. It's been a long time coming, and I just can't wait to be out there.
That's why we play football in the SEC, trying to go get it done.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
College Station. It is TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It's the makeshift Rollo Insurance Studio. It's an awesome one, but we're here at the Angry Elephant Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. David Nuño, Olin Buchanan, and today is not only the Angry Elephant Day, a day that a bunch of young college kids are going to come check out this show because we've got a huge guest on the show.
Huge in what way?
Steve McKinney's got huge biceps.
Yeah.
Seth McKinney does as well.
He's going to be bicep day.
Yeah. No, Josh Pate.
So huge biceps.
You told me that he is somebody you would not mind seeing more of on many different networks.
I think that, I watch the guys who are college football experts, on different shows.
Yeah.
And they always strike me as a guy that called up the SID that of the team he's going to be talking about the most, or a couple teams. Hey, what's going on?
Give me some info.
Get me up to speed.
Yeah.
And Pate is a guy that strikes me as somebody who just lives it and does all of his research and is watching as many games, and those that he doesn't watch live, he's going back and watching, at least what do they call it? The when you watch the whole game, they just take out everything in between.
Right.
Yeah, so it's nonstop kind of thing.
Yeah. Josh is the best. I texted him this morning. He will be here. I'll tell the people he's going to be here between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. so they come hang out for the entire time. Yeah. But the actual time, should I tell them or no?
Yeah. Well, I would appreciate it if I knew.
If you knew?
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you, but hopefully nobody else is listening at the moment. Actually, hopefully they are listening.
Yeah.
9:35, Josh Pate will be in here. Knowing him, he seems to me as somebody who comes early to events, leaves late.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so let's do three things we want to see. We're running our mouths here on TexAgs Live, brought to you by the Brazos Running Company, your local Aggie-owned specialty running store where you can find Brooks on Hoka shoes located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. OB, do you want to give me three things that you want to see this week? And I bet you it's similar to what you wanted to see last week.
Yeah, probably. First of all, I want to see Le'Veon Moss have another big day running the football. I want the Aggies to be able to run the football. I think that, so much of their offensive success is tied into running the football. And I think you can run against Missouri. I know they've got some good stats and things like that, but some of them are a little bit skewed by the
opponents,
first two opponents, especially. So I want to see A&M run the football effectively. Sure, tackling in the secondary. You've got to tackle. Well, look, they have good receivers, and you're going to give up some pass plays. You are. That they're too good not to make the connections. But what you have to do is make the tackles when you have that opportunity. You can't let Luther Burden turn a 10-yard pass into a 50-yard gain because he can do it. So make sure tackles. And, I want to see A&M make some big plays in the passing game.
Yes, I like the way you operate there, OB. As for Missouri, they don't have a lot of big plays, but their big plays do come from exactly what you just said right there. Short pass or mid-range pass that Luther Burden or Theo Weiss or whomever bust into a big play. Nate Noel, that's how they get their big plays. They don't have a lot of over-the-top throws this year, and they do not throw to the middle of the field. They like to throw to the outside. So that's something for the A&M defense to pay attention to.
Yeah, you mentioned Nate Noel.
He's been nice.
I had to limit it to three, but I was watching their game against Vanderbilt, And, you can say, well, it's Vanderbilt. Well, Vanderbilt's a much improved team. And, gosh, he has a burst to get through the hole. And then he has speed to make it into a really big play. I watched a 64-yard run that he had. He had 199 yards rushing in that game, 320 in the last 2 games.
It's pretty good.
He's explosive.
Yeah, he is. So I got a message the other day from Foul Hooked, and he said, could you guys talk about the loss of Cody Schrader? Seems to deserve a stronger mention. I feel like he was a major part of their success last year. Over 1,800 yards of production, led the SEC, not easy to replace. And I think typically I would say you're correct. But so far, that backfield has done a very good job for Missouri. Yes, the quality of opponent isn't there, but Nate Noel's been fantastic.
Yeah, he's been really good, like I said, especially in the last 2 games. But, was it a texter or
It was on TexAgs. You sent me a message on TexAgs.
yeah, well.
And Marcus Carroll also is really good.
Yeah, but they got a point because Schrader was spectacular. What did he say? 1,800 yards?
1,800 yards, yeah.
He led the SEC in rushing. He was just one of those guys that was just a good football player. I think he was a walk-on most of his career.
Yep.
And he was a major factor in their success.
Would you like to hear my 3 things?
Yeah, let's hear them.
All right, they're similar to yours. So typically the run game opens up the pass game, correct? Typically?
Yeah.
With Marcel Reed at quarterback, I think it's the reverse. So I think you're going to have to use the passing game to open up the run game, because what they're going to do is force you to make passes, right? That's what we've seen from Arkansas. Bowling Green tried it. They're going to put as many guys in the box to make it very difficult to run, and no matter how good Le'Veon Moss is in the offensive line, if there's more dudes covering, it's harder to get those yards, right? So if Marcel Reed, if he is the quarterback, which I think he will be, can complete some passes and hopefully some passes down the field, I think that allows Le'Veon to do what he does best, be one of the top backs in the SEC.
Okay, that all makes sense. Yeah.
How about this? I want to see what we saw last week, which is obvious, more of a pass rush. Considering, though, Brady Cook, who has been, I think Vanderbilt sacked him 3 times, and A&M's defense, as somebody pointed out on the boards, is better than Vandy's defense is, A&M's defense is better than Vandy's. But I do think Missouri, because of A&M's defense, will definitely do a little quicker passes because they know what's coming. That being said, Brady Cook is one of the fastest in college football, if not the fastest at getting rid of the ball.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Missouri operate kind of like Notre Dame did.
Yep.
The difference is they have better receivers. That, going back to my first one, or my second one, that can catch the ball and take a short pass and make it a big play.
Maroon Kool-Aid take, but I think I'm right here. This is not the same A&M defense that took on Notre Dame.
Okay.
I feel like they're starting to find their groove on the defensive line, which is making a big difference. I also don't think Missouri has the offensive line, even though Notre Dame, I don't think the left side of the line has been atrocious for them.
Well, I was watching again last night. Maybe it was one game.
Yep.
I just was not impressed with their tackles.
Yes, exactly right.
Now, their interior line, especially their center's really good.
They've been running the ball well. So, and the third thing I want to see, we saw this last week, red zone 7s. Okay? I want to see 7s. We got 2 for 2 last week. I want to see more 7s as opposed to 3s. Because one thing about Missouri that I learned from a couple of insiders, they settle for field goals often. They can move the ball until they get close to the scoring range, right? To the 40, let's say the opponent's 40. And then they do the same play calling, but it just doesn't work as effectively. So if you're going to force them to 3s, then you need to score 7s.
Well, maybe that has to do with, like we were talking about, how they can take a short pass and turn it into a big game. But when everything gets condensed, it's harder for them to, they don't have as much room to operate. And so, they don't break those tackles as easily.
Yeah. By the way, if you want to be
someone else is right there.
Yeah. If you want to be a part of the conversation this morning, you can do it 979-693-1150. If you call us, we will pick it up on the Boss Firearms hotline. You can also text us at that number. Obi, I'm going to read you this. This has actually been out for a couple days, but you and I haven't spoken about it. Eli Drinkowitz is not allowing Marcel Reed's sister at practice. She works as I think on the recruiting staff for them, and he's not risking it. So he's like, you can't come to practice.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was on the SEC coaches conference call on Wednesday, and I couldn't tell if he was joking about that.
Apparently it's true.
And if that's true, yeah, some people say, well, he's trying to protect her, but you don't have any more faith in your employees than that? I mean, I know coaches get paranoid and everything, but to me, that would be a great reason for her to, seek a job elsewhere.
No.
Because if you have so little of an opinion of my integrity,
Yeah.
then then why do I want to watch?
I'm trying to think. Like sometimes I'm a little too transparent. OB.
If hey, TexAgs, I don't, I don't want you to be talking on the telephone with some of your other friends. Brent Zerneman, he's a friend of mine,
right?
Because if we have some information, I'm assuming that you're going to call him up and tell him so we can scoop TexAg.
I hate to say it. Yeah, no, I think I have a little more integrity than I thought I did for a moment. I was thinking if my brother played for another team, would I hook him up with info? And probably not. I'd probably just stay out of it.
Yeah,
but I love my bro, Alex. I'm sorry.
I think everybody. Well, I like to say, I think the vast majority of people. First of all, you understand where your bread is getting buttered.
Yes,
your loyalty lies with who's paying the. Who's cutting the check.
If it's your kid,
even if it's your kid.
What would you guys do? Everybody who's here at the Angry Elephant, would you give the information to your brother or your sister? Yes, no, maybe? No. They all have integrity. They're all Aggies. That's why.
Because they don't lie, cheat, or steal.
That's right.
But they never said anything about giving the other team
information
or giving the team information. One guy's over there nodding, and I think it's because he's saying, well, I would give it to Texas A&M, but if Texas A&M wasn't the other team involved, would you give the information?
I wish Wonder Woman's lasso was here to find out the truth. I see a guy with is that a Longhorn shirt coming in here? Holy smokes, maybe. Anyway, that's all right. We'll welcome here at the Angry Elephant, 979-693-1150. Obi, what do you think the key? If you could say, all right, A&M does this, they win. If you could pick a thing, what is that thing?
I'd still say run the football effectively.
So if I tell you that A&M has 184 yards rushing, is that a win?
It might be. I might want to set that
212.
Yeah, 212.
212, they win.
Yeah, give me over 200. I'm going to feel really good about it.
If I tell you Nate Noel rushes for 86 yards, does that equate a victory?
No.
For Missouri?
No.
If I say 118?
No.
If I say 140?
Well, probably.
Yeah.
But because here's the deal. If Nate Noel goes for 140, but you keep Theo Weiss and Luther Burden in check,
right,
and keep them out of the end zone, then I still think you win.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. Missouri has been known to give up some big plays. Okay.
Sounds like somebody else I know.
I was going to say, like, both of these teams, they're obviously, they're not run the same way. They don't operate the same way. Missouri's got the talented wide receivers and a really nice running back. I think A&M has the talented running back with some receivers that need to prove that they can take the next step. And we saw a step from Noah Thomas last week. Hopefully we see another week. If we get 2 weeks in a row of a Noah Thomas sighting, is that enough for you to be like, all right, I think he's emerged?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that you're going to be looking for Noah a lot against 5'11" cornerbacks.
Yeah, I would too.
Throw it up and let the 6'6" guy go get it.
Yeah. And if the timing with Marcel Reed and Noah Thomas can be just a little bit better, because there were plays to be made last week.
There were, and some were made, but the one that stands out is the first play of the second half, which would have been a 75-yard touchdown pass. How much do you think they missed that connection by? I mean, he threw the ball 50 yards, it seemed like,
right,
and probably missed him by 3 or 4 inches.
I was going to say that. Yeah, it was just right there, almost there. If you can get 1 or 2 explosive plays, okay? And by the way, it's a hint to my bank on it because I've got a bank on it that's going to be similar to that. But when I say explosive plays, I'm not saying they have to be 7s. I would like them to be. But if you can move the ball 40 yards, 30 yards on a play, not just Le'Veon Moss breaking through the defensive line, which we saw him do in the fourth quarter against Arkansas. But I'm saying, like, get a couple of those, soften up that defense, change it up. I think it changes the complexion of this entire offense.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I agree with all that.
Do you think we get a 4th game with a tight end touchdown?
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's so hard to predict, and I haven't seen I didn't see enough of how Missouri covers the middle of the field or covers the tight end, but I have a lot of faith in the play calling, and I like I like Watson.
Yep.
I like Thor. Maybe it'll be a different guy to catch it this time. Maybe it'll be Jaden Platt.
Maybe Shane Calhoun.
Donovan
Green.
That'd be nice.
Pablo Escobar.
No.
He's not a tight end. Never mind. He's not around anymore. Thoughts and prayers to the. No, actually, no. Anyway, OB, let's.
Pablo Escobar, come on. If you'd have said Gavin Escobar, who's not around anymore, he was a former Cowboys tight end. And that might have, maybe I should have.
Any relationship?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Maybe I should try to help you out there. So I think you meant Gavin Escobar, and he's not with us either.
I just like saying Pablo Escobar. It just rolls out. I say it for anything. Like, Dad, who's at the door? Pablo Escobar. Like, I just say it. My kids are like, who? What? Anyway, look. If they can have a few big plays, I think it makes all the difference in the world for Le'Veon and Amari, the entire backfield, E.J. Smith. Because teams, I don't want to say have figured out Marcel Reed, but they're daring Marcel to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah, you know what? And I'll say this for Marcel also. If your ability to run is an amazing weapon, and I'm not talking about on designed runs, I'm just saying sometimes I've seen the opportunities there for a big gain if you'll just tuck it and go. And I really hope that he takes those opportunities. But I do, it's obvious, and I agree with you that if you can make big plays in the passing game, especially throwing it way downfield, and the safeties then have to respect that threat, and they don't get as involved in the running game.
I don't know how much you've paid attention to what Ole Miss fans and analysts are saying, but one of the things that they're saying is Ole Miss had a terrible non-conference that did not prepare them for SEC play, and that's why they weren't ready to go against Kentucky. That is a thought out there, okay?
Yeah, maybe. I think it sounds like an excuse.
Maybe it's an excuse
for getting outplayed, because if watching Ole Miss Kentucky almost beat Georgia, didn't get your attention and make you ready to play. How do you? I know what they're saying. Look, we played easy teams, we won. Now we played. It's not like Kentucky is a great team,
right? No, but the reason I say that, the reason I bring that up is, could you maybe say the same thing about Missouri?
You could maybe, but
they haven't had a road game. They haven't really taken on a team of ilk, if you will.
Yeah, but they've had 2 weeks to get their mind right.
Yeah.
If that's the case. But look, you can say that about they haven't played anybody. Well, the last 2 games, they beat Boston College by a touchdown, and they went into overtime to get by Vanderbilt.
By the way, typically we're in the cool zone for this first segment. So this is very similar to the cool zone.
I like this chair.
Yes, it's very holistic planning-esque, if you will, right?
Yeah, this is pretty good.
By the way, this is something for you. Great crowd here at the Angry Elephant. This is a great crowd. But here's something about holistic planning, by the way. This is up your alley, big spender. The NFL recently became the last of the big 4 North American sport leagues to allow private equity firms to acquire ownership stakes in teams. For years, professional sports investing was reserved for ultra wealthy. Not anymore. If you're interested in learning more about professional sports investing and determine if it may be appropriate for you, holistic planning is your ticket. Check out investinprosports.com today. It sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would invest in pro sports. Unfortunately, I've invested indirectly in pro sports.
Yeah, you have.
Often.
Yes, you have.
Often at the sports books.
OB, we're going to go over some of my prize picks, okay?
Yeah.
All right. By the way, go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and use the code TexAgs to receive guaranteed $50 once you play in $5 lineups, daily fantasy sports. This is what I picked. You can tell me I'm wrong. All right. I picked Dylan Gabriel to throw for more than 283. I have Le'Veon Moss rushing for more than 67.5.
I like that one.
That one for sure you feel good, right?
I feel good about that one.
Nate Noel, unfortunately, I have him rushing for more than 73.5 yards, but I don't think much more than that.
Yeah, I hope it's not. I hope you lose that one, dude.
Jalen Milroe, more than 235.5 yards passing.
Who are they playing? Andy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to throw. I mean, he's been throwing for 300 a game.
Throw it out at that freshman. You'll get it.
Luther Burden, what do you think? More than or less than 72.5 yards?
I would have to say more than.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. I'm going to make some money, all right? You can make some money with Daily Fantasy Sports. Go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to receive those guaranteed $50. Once you play in $5 lineups, it is PrizePicks. Best song ever to work out to, Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, is that what that was? I was thinking, well, we're going to have a contest now where you guess the song, the bumper music.
That was Eye of the Tiger by your favorite band, Survivor.
Yeah.
Lead singer's name is?
I have no idea.
Mr. Survivor.
Oh, okay.
TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. This Rollo Insurance Studio is actually at the Angry
Elephant
in
South College Station
with
David
and Obi. I don't know.
I don't know where you're going with that.
By the way,
with great buffalo wings.
I just found out, that we may have to do a breakfast buffalo wing. We may have to. If somebody hears us accidentally and there's a buffalo wing I'm eating on the air, now you know. I wanted to read this quickly from, I think it's Derek on the YouTube chat. Where'd he go? It says, I'm surprised that YouTube allowed OB on air with his short shorts.
My shorts are not short. My legs are long.
It's probably both. All right. It's probably both.
Not. It's when you sit down, they kind of ride on you. Yeah.
I don't need that visual. Aggieland Chevrolet says, hey, they're giving away 2 sets of 4 tickets with parking passes for the Missouri A&M game this weekend at Kyle Field. To win, all you have to do is comment TexAgs and post, like, and share. Follow Aggieland Chevrolet on Facebook. The drawing will be today at 5 p.m. Post it on Facebook. You must come by the dealership and pick them up. Beat the hell out of Missouri Gig 'em. So, okay, everybody here should go and try to, unless you already got tickets, you can get it for family, friends of yours.
Yeah.
Go to the Aggieland Chevrolet and make sure you put the word TexAgs, post, like, share, all that good stuff. OB, let's do some matchups, shall we?
Let's do.
I know you've got some interesting matchups. Where do you want to start off with this one?
Well, how about the one that we've talked about a lot already, but Le'Veon Moss, or the A&M running game, but we're featuring Le'Veon Moss against that Missouri run defense. Le'Veon's had at least 84 yards rushing in each of the last 4 games, 70 yards in every game. Coming off a career high 117 rushing yards, 90 in the fourth quarter against Arkansas. He's doing that despite your opponents understanding that you got to stop him.
Yep.
So that running game, are they still going to be able to, offensive line going to be able to make room for them? I think it's key that they do and give him just a little bit of a crease. And he's shown, he's like a bull in the china shop. He's going to go through there and create havoc. Now, Missouri's defense statistically looks like they're really strong against the run. I think they're 19th in the country against the run. But then you have to look deeper into it. And how much of that is skewed because their first 2 opponents were Murray State and Buffalo.
Sure.
And they gave up, I think, less than 100 yards in both of those games combined. Here's the deal. Murray State does not apply here because they're an FCS team. But the Missouri helped Buffalo to 114 yards rushing. I think Boston College to 49, and Vanderbilt had about 146 last week. Boston College is ranked 59th in the nation in rushing offense. Buffalo was ranked 120th.
Okay.
That means they're not running against anybody.
But nobody, yep.
And Vanderbilt is 63rd. Behind Le'Veon Moss, A&M was ranked 13th. So A&M was not even close to being, they are the best rushing offense that Missouri will have seen, and it's not even close.
At what point in the season you are who you are? Okay. Is it now? Have we reached the point like this is who you are? And by the way, Le'Veon Moss, this is who he is. Yeah, I've already made up my mind.
How many times have you heard the line that when you're at your best is when you're at mid-season form?
Yep. We're mid-season, buddy.
We're mid-season. So, I would think you are who you are by now, especially for A&M.
Hopefully, we're mid-season at game 7 or 8. I'm just saying,
I think we're talking about the regular season, but I know
you know what I mean.
Mid-season and right at 8. Yeah.
What else do we have, OB? Do you have Noah Thomas on the list?
Well, I certainly could, even though...
Oh, you pick, my friend. I just saw him next on there. You go wherever you want to go. I follow your lead.
Okay, well, how about this? Since we've talked about this a little bit, the A&M secondary versus the Missouri receivers.
Yes.
Here's the thing, that A&M has had a problem of giving up big plays this year. You know who's had a problem of getting big plays? Missouri. Missouri, I think, only has 10 in 4 games, 10 pass plays that have
30 or more,
20 yards or more.
20 or more. Okay.
Yeah. And they only have 4 touchdown passes. You know who caught them all?
It's not Luther Burden.
It is Luther Burden.
It is Luther.
They've only 4 touchdown passes in 4 games. Luther Burden caught them all.
He's pretty good at football.
He's really good. So, in the old days, and there's some guys in here I can see that would remember this because there's at least as old as I am. In the old days, you might take your best corner, Will Lee, and say, hey, just follow that guy.
Yeah. You
cover him all over the field. Well, they don't do it anymore. Will stays on the boundary side most of the time, and now you got a nickelback, which they didn't even have in the old days. So, and I expect that Missouri's going to probably attack the A&M nickelback with Luther Burden they'll move him around and try to get that matchup because A&M, quite frankly, has had some coverage issues there. But again, it's not like Missouri's offense, their passing game, which has all kinds of potential. And they did amazing things last year, but they really haven't been as explosive this year. So can that A&M pass defense keep Missouri somewhat contained like Vanderbilt did?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's do one more, Ob. Choose another one.
Okay, how about, let's see, what's another one? How about that? How about Marcel Reed against the pass defense of Missouri? Because first of all, we don't know that Marcel's going to start. We think he's going to start. Connor may be ready. It's a game time decision. We've been hearing about that all the time. But Marcel has been a good quarterback for A&M, but he does need to take that next step. He's thrown 2 touchdown passes in every game, but he's hovering around somewhere between 180 yards passing to 160. He needs to take that next step, start hitting the big play that we talked about earlier when he had the chance to hit Noah Thomas and missed him. That's 2 games in a row that he's had Noah open and wasn't quite able to get him the ball. So we need to see improvement, the next step for Marcel Reed. Now, Missouri's pass defense, they've been okay. I don't think they've been great. They have a guy named Torian Pride, I think his name.
Torian Pride, yep.
Torian Pride, and he's a really good corner that they brought in from Clemson. A&M tried to get him into the transfer portal, but he's from East St. Louis, decided to go on home. I still think there are plays to be made against that Boston College. I'm sorry, against that Missouri secondary. Boston College quarterback Thomas Castellanos had a 249 yards passing was a season high.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that Marcel Reed, if he's the guy, go out and take advantage of some of those holes in the Missouri secondary and break out from that. Consistently solid performance to have something that we all say, man, he had a really good game throwing the ball.
Can I ask a question about style and fashion?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this shirt?
I like it.
You like it, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's one of those Pearl Snap shirts.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Snaps hooked the brother up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice, right? Editor sent it to me. It's
when you go home, does Elizabeth just grab it and pull it apart?
Actually, I do it before.
Yeah.
I do it myself. I Hulk Hogan.
Okay, I was going to say Superman.
Well, more like Hulkamania.
Okay.
And I start doing,
don't rip it.
Oh,
Why would you tear up that shirt?
Yeah, you would.
Nice.
So the reason I ask you if you like it, because, by the way, shout out to Snaps.
Yeah, thanks for sending me one, Snaps.
Well, you got to be in the circle of trust. Let's be honest.
I'm not.
But the reason I'm bringing it up, Ob, is because if I were going to go eat at 1775 today,
I wouldn't wear it.
I probably, because you know how I eat.
Yeah.
And there, it's all over the hands, it's all over, it's delicious, but it's a little messy when I go there.
Yeah, I would almost, but they wouldn't allow it, but I would almost take off my shirt to eat it.
I think they would allow it.
No, I don't think so.
For you, but yeah, for some of us.
Yeah, I don't think so. They're probably
the health code.
Yeah, they probably also, don't want anyone to lose their appetite. But I have to go in there just.
All right, short shorts.
Long legs. I just have to dive into that brisket and those pork ribs and absolutely wallow around like a pig in that queso mac and cheese.
Well, you can order right now, but they're open on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. Online ordering turns off at 10 a.m. It is, Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until they're sold out. But online ordering turns off at 10 a.m. 8203 Raymond Stosser Parkway in College Station. I hear something coming. 979-492-6241. It is 1775txbbq.com.
I love it.
What's up, TexAgs? This commercial break is brought to you by my good friends over at Aggieland Chevrolet, the official automotive sponsor of TexAgs.com and me, Billy Liucci. Greg Gunn is the proud owner of Aggieland Chevrolet and invites you to visit the dealership to experience true Aggie hospitality. From their friendly staff to the experienced service team, Aggieland Chevrolet is TexAgs approved. Check out the dealership off of Highway 6 in Bryan or go to AggielandChevrolet.com and tell them Billy Liucci sent you by.
Hi, we are back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio at the Angry Elephant in South College Station. You got me thinking about those wings, buddy.
Those wings are great.
Yeah.
I love the wings.
Pretty good. No, not pretty good. Fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's also the Go Hour. You knew that, right?
I knew that. That's why I'm here.
Presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Nick's going to love what I'm going to have him do. Nick, do me a favor. Just casually walk in front of the camera back and forth twice. Just casually. I want the people to see a little duck camp gear. There it is.
Nice.
You see how I did that? Duck camp taking care of Nick Stavish.
On the runway.
First time he's ever been called.
Catwalk.
First time he's ever been called a model. First time.
It's not the first time he's been said to walk like a cat, though.
No. Catwalk. It is a very fitted and comfortable gear there at Duck Camp. And by the way, they're hooking me up for when I go on my bird dog hunt. Just saying, super comfortable, not your run-of-the-mill baggy clothes there. It fits well. They range from the Nuño protection line of shirts to technical hunting shirts and fishing apparel as well. Guarantee you'll see all the hats, by the way, too. Those Mallard Game Series. Duck Camp gear is made for the people that live for the moments out there, where there are fish to catch, birds to hunt, time to kill, and football to watch. Check out the gear at duckcamp.com. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, our good friend Kay Naegeli is here. How are you, Kay?
I am great. I always love live shows to see everyone come out. It's exciting.
It is. We have a great crowd here.
It's so good. If y'all have not gotten here already for Josh Pate, y'all better head.
Wait.
Is that why they're here?
I'm just saying, if you want to come for Josh Pate.
What, are we chopped liver?
No, I just love me some Josh Pate. So also, if you want to come for Josh Pate, you better get here. Because
what if I text
everyone loves the go hour already.
What if I text them and say, hey, we've canceled the show. You can't come now.
Then they're going to be here for you, David.
No, they'll be here for OB.
Here to talk to OB.
No doubt about that. By the way, it's
shorts.
Lots of comments on your shorts this morning.
I mean, the views. That's all. That's what people are talking about. It is time to do our pick six, and that is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs. You get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. You, Kay Naegeli, and everybody in here as well. All right. NASCAR series. Let's go. Let's do some of this pick six. I actually haven't looked at it.
All right. Well, let's go to it. Hugh Freeze's Auburn Tigers head to number 5 Georgia. That is at 2:30 p.m. at Sanford Stadium on ABC. Georgia is favored by 24.5.
OB, that number moved a little bit. That's a big number, but I still think it's Georgia.
Yeah, I think after last week, Georgia's going to be kind of pissed off. I think Georgia's going to be all over Auburn like Ryan Broniger on a chicken fried steak.
I could see that. Yeah, the Ryan Broniger.
He doesn't even know we're talking about it.
No. He's a man of the people. He talks to the folks. I'm going to take Georgia in this one. I'm having a horrendous pick six season. Billy Liucci and Seth McKinney are dominating.
I saw Billy's record last week, 5-1.
He's like 10 games up on the next guy.
I know. Wow, look at that, Billy.
Since I've been here, I think he finishes last. He's right now well on his way to finishing first.
He's on it.
He's on one, yes. So I'm taking Georgia.
All right, perfect. Let's go to number 12, Ole Miss. Just lost their first conference game at South Carolina. That is 2:30 p.m. at Williams-Brice Stadium on ESPN. Ole Miss is favored by 9.5.
I think that's kind of a big number for this game on the road, OB.
I do. I want to take the chickens, but I think I'm going to go with Lane on this one.
Yeah.
I think a 10-point win is not out of the question for a team that, got. Look, I don't want to overreact to their loss last week, and I want them to say, I'm thinking, okay, Dart and Trey Harris and all Parrish and all those guys are going to come out and show what they really are supposed to be.
If they lose, their season's basically done for what they expected, right?
Right.
I think they overcorrect and they keep scoring and they win by more than 9.5. I'm going with Ole Miss in this one.
All right, perfect. Let's head to the next one. We got Iowa traveling to number 3 Ohio State, 2:30 p.m. at Ohio Stadium. That is on CBS. Ohio State is favored by 19.5.
Can Iowa score? I mean, they couldn't score all last year. Are they any better offensively?
I think they're better offensively, but they're
losing this game, and they're probably losing by
17
2 touchdowns, but are they losing by 3?
I think that's a big number. I'm taking Iowa in this one.
I'm going to take Ohio State because I want to be different. I think you and I have picked 9 of the last 10 before this week. The same.
What did you do last week, OB?
I think I went 3-3.
Okay.
And I went 2-4 last week.
Yeah.
Overall standing.
Well, I'm last.
Oh,
I'm Florida State of the TexAgs pickers.
Yeah. No, you're a little better than Florida State. A little bit.
No, I'm Boston College.
You're Boston College. Well, Boston College was ranked for a minute.
All right, let's head to the next one. We got the 4th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers going to Arkansas, 6:30 p.m. at Razorback Stadium on ABC. Tennessee favored by 13.5.
Oh, yeah, it's Tennessee all day.
It is Tennessee all day this season. Sam, I like you, buddy.
I think
your days.
Yeah, I wonder when their next open date for Arkansas is.
Because sometime in October.
Because that might be when when Bobby Petrino becomes the next head coach of Arkansas.
I am taking Tennessee.
All right, number 10, Michigan goes to Washington. That is 6:30 p.m. at Husky Stadium on NBC. Washington favored by 1.5.
I'm taking Michigan.
Yeah, I'll take Michigan. You're going to give me a 1.5
on the road? Yeah. I'm Michigan all day.
Easy enough.
What? Oh, God, that means I'm going to be terrible this week.
Good, but
bad.
Washington, how good is Washington?
I wish we could watch Billy and Seth and Steve do this first before we pick.
Yeah,
because they're the ones on fire. last year I was on fire. I won it.
So you want to just kind of follow suit, or
Well, I don't know. I just whatever we're doing isn't working.
Yeah, I don't know. So whatever Billy's up to is working. All right. Last but not least, number 9, Missouri Tigers are coming to number 25, Texas A&M. That is an 11 a.m. kickoff at Kyle Field. Brady Cook had some words to say about Kyle Field, so let's see how that plays out for him. On ABC, Texas A&M is favored by 1.5.
All right. Before I answer, OB. And before you answer, I think everybody knows what I'm going to pick here because I've kind of been open about it all week. I want the people here at the Angry Elephant. Is A&M going to win by 1.5 or more? Are we taking yes? Yeah, this is a radio show. People got to hear you. Yeah, I see the hands.
You can
yes.
yell. You can. Yes. Yes.
Wins by more than 1.5. Yes.
Missouri covers.
Okay. That's where you can go silent. Missouri covers.
No, the hell no.
They don't follow my rules. It's their rules at the Angry Elephant. That's why we're angry at the Elephant. All right, I am taking A&M.
Aggies.
Aggies all day.
Aggies. I'll give the what 1.5?
1.5. Yeah. Look, if the if word. I hate the F word, but it's if A&M is able to play the brand of football that they've been playing, I think they're better than Missouri. If they're not able to run the ball, then I don't think they do anything.
Hey, I think A&M's better than Vanderbilt. I think A&M's better than Ball.
Students are going to be a little mad about certain quarterbacks' comments. I don't know. Just graduated, being a young person, I would get to that game early and be loud. So,
dude, okay. I asked this of some younger folks earlier. Is an 11 a.m. game really that hard for the young? It was for me when I was in college many years ago. I'd show up like in the second quarter.
I like an 11 a.m. personally.
But I know why you like it.
No, but even in college, I like.
You did really? Well, you worked in college.
Yeah. Well, before I liked to get the day going.
When I did not work in sports,
wake up at 6 a.m. with your friends and you start.
But you went to bed at 3 a.m.
Yeah, well, you got to take it easy the night before. So tonight needs to be calm and then be ready to go tomorrow.
Obi, from a work perspective, I assume you love the 11 a.m.
I do from a work perspective. However,
fan experience.
I'm incredulous. I know they set this kickoff time before the season, but I'm incredulous that they didn't change it and say, look, it's the only ranked matchup of the day. Let's move it to 2:30. But I guess you just have to do what TV tells you to do.
Pumpkin Palooza, BCS. Get tickets online and more expensive at the line at the gates, by the way. Tickets are good for both days. We got a hookup. I'm seeing this now. We set up a TexAgs promo code, which is 5% off online tickets purchased through October the 7th. TexAgs is the code to use when you go to Pumpkin Palooza, BCS.com. Here are a couple of the highlights of the week. You got the Pumpkin Palooza Trail Run that is going to be coming up on Saturday, October the 12th. It starts at 7:30 a.m. You must register at the website. Pumpkin Palooza Festival. I'm going to say Pumpkin Palooza at least 16 times. 10 a.m. to 2 o'clock. The Trek Tryout Mountain Biking at 10 a.m. for kids ages grades 4 through 12 must register on the website. Pumpkin Palooza Games at noon. You can also register online. On Sunday, October the 13th, you got the festival from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Trek Tryout Mountain Biking. So those are a lot of the events. Pumpkin games there at noon. So what do? You go to pumpkinpalooza.bcs.com. Get 5% off your tickets by using the TexAgs promo. Do that right now. It is Milliken Reserve Pumpkin Palooza. And we are back on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. You knew that.
Yes, I did.
We are at the Angry Elephant in South College Station. You knew that.
I knew that because I'm here.
This is going to be our Rollo Insurance studio for the entire show.
Okay.
This is the closing of the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse of CC Creations. You knew that.
I did know that.
Josh Pate expected to be here later.
I know that.
Billy Liucci coming.
Yeah,
you expect that.
I know he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Seth McKinney.
I think, he's doing some bicep curls right quick to try to fit in.
I thought about doing it this morning, but I was like, it's a lost cause. Time to bank on it. Presented by Vera Bank, authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. All right, what are you banking on?
You know, I like to go with the hot hand.
Yep.
And Le'Veon Moss is, I guess it's not his hands that are hot, his feet. I figure he's going to change the cleats, whatever he has to do, put on the right colors.
Yep.
And I'm looking for another 100-yard game and maybe even a couple of touchdowns from Le'Veon Moss this week.
Well, I'm going to do something that is, I think I'm going super specific here, okay?
Okay.
There will be a 50-yard touchdown.
50 yards.
And a 30-yard run.
Okay.
Those two things will happen in this game.
Both of them.
Yeah. I don't know if
both for
actually,
A&M or for Missouri or...
There will be at least one of those will be a touchdown and one of those will happen. So both are happening. We're going to have at least a 50-yard play, hopefully it results in a touchdown, and at least a 30-yard pass, and a 30-yard run. Okay. And
50 pass, 30 run.
That's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Write it down. There's going to be no Nuño-ness. A&M, yeah, not Missouri. God, I hope not. No Nuño.
Nostradamus.
Apparently, I predicted the Nick Scorton game last week, which, by the way, it's very easy to pick because he's Nick Scorton. You just say it and it happens, right? I predicted that.
He's Nostradamus.
I believe Billy predicted the Noah Thomas.
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus. And OB, what'd you predict last week?
I don't even remember.
Me neither. I don't even know if I predicted that stuff. Anyway.
Nostradamus.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for Around Aggieland, presented by Norman G. State Bank. Norman G. State Bank, rock solid banking. The website is normangstatebank.com. We've got Kay Naegeli here.
We do. We've talked a lot of football, but there's been some other things that have gone on. Want to shout out Buzz Williams' men's basketball program.
Shout out. Just
last night, they received a commitment as their second commitment from the 2025 class. Yeah, but Evangelist is screaming it. As small forward, Jashir Rensher gave his verbal pledge to the Maroon and White. He is he's 6'5". His fellow finalists were Washington, Oklahoma, LSU, and New Mexico. Great pickup for Buzz Williams.
Luke was telling me he can play the 3, he can play the 4, he can play in the wing, he can move. So
love it. Absolutely.
A nice addition to the program.
Another person got a shout out here. Ryan Broniger's in the building. Aggie baseball plays a fall ball game tonight.
Hey, Brody, can you just broadcast the entire scrimmage, please? I know.
Live stream. Just
Facebook Live it if they still do that.
Go to Olsen for Broniger screams. That is at 6 p.m. tonight. They play Houston Christian and it's scheduled to last for 12 innings, believe concessions and all of that. We'll be open. If you see Brian Broniger, make sure to give him a big hello. I'm sure he'll love that.
I see young people in the back. Young people do listen to AM radio. Let's go.
Woo! That's on FM too, you know.
Oh yeah, listen to the FM. We're on YouTube too.
What they do?
We're on the CW.
We're everywhere.
We're here. We're there.
Live.
We're everywhere.
TexAgs Live.
Indeed. Let's go A&M soccer. They will wrap up the first half of their SEC slate with a trip to Ole Miss. That match time is set for 7 p.m. They are looking to get back to 500 in league action. So hopefully they can pull that one out on the road. Guerrero Company. Aggie volleyball will also head on the road for conference play. They are taking a 1-1 SEC record into Auburn. They will play on Sunday at 2 p.m. before also going to Ole Miss next week. And then last but not least, OB, you're going to love this one. Number 4 equestrian team. There you go. They downed number 2 SMU just on Thursday afternoon.
There's another horse.
So they're
the horses on the horse.
Love it.
A horse is a horse, of course. You don't know what that's from, do you?
No.
Of course she does. Unless that horse is Mr. Ed.
Do you know what Mr. Ed is?
Throw all these jokes at me and
you think I was born in the 1950s? I wasn't born in the 50s, but I know Mr. Ed. Cooper knows Mr. Ed.
Yeah, he's shaking his head now.
Who knows Mr. Ed here?
Say, knows Mr. Ed.
Yes.
Say the young people in the back that you're pointing to.
Yes, them dancing.
Hey, I walked into the wrong show. Sorry.
Oh, man. That's all for me.
Thank you, KK. Great job, by the way. OB, I think you're going to stick around for a little bit on
Okay, I'd
TexAgs
be glad
Live.
to.
Yeah, because we got
until Liucci shows.
Yes, until Liucci shows. Or you can stay a little bit with Liucci. In fact, I want you to talk to the people. You're really good at talking to the people. Hey, can you give us a text message or two?
I can. So Chase in Houston said,
"Hey, Chase,
I can't get enough of my legs."
I think A&M wins this game by 2 scores. This has another Theo coming out party written all over it.
Well, what if could that mean they only win by 6?
All right, we got to hit a break here. Great text. I thought we had way more time. We'll be back at TexAgs Live. Welcome to TexAgs Live. We are at the Angry Elephant in South College Station. Can I hear it from the people? That sucked. Let's try again. Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes, Billy Liucci will be here. And then Josh Pate. Can I hear from you?
Howdy, Ags.
There we go. That's more like it. Hour number 2 of the program. OB, here's my question, okay? I told you before the show, if you could buy stock in a program for the remainder of the year.
Okay? Any program or an SEC program?
Whatever you want to do. You're smart. You can do both.
Okay, I'll do the SEC.
And then if you could sell stock for any team, sell it high, get as much value as you can because you think they're going to come crashing down. I want you to let's talk through both scenarios.
I'm dumping Oklahoma.
Get rid of Oklahoma.
I mean, they're all excited because they won last year. You beat Auburn, the team that lost to Cal. The team that Florida State had to rally to beat Cal.
Right.
And Auburn lost to them, and now Oklahoma's talking like they're back because they beat Auburn on a pick 6. They went to the fourth quarter down 11. I think with that they're just not very good, and with the schedule that Oklahoma has coming up, I would sell Oklahoma as fast as I could. Oklahoma's falling like Enron stock, I think. And the team I would buy,
I know where you're going, buddy,
is Kentucky.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going.
I'm not saying that they're going to win a championship anymore,
but they're better than we thought when they played South Carolina.
And you've almost beaten Georgia, and you have beaten Ole Miss, and I just think that they're going to win some games here. All
right, so being the Maroon homer that I am, would you buy stock in A&M to be better than they are right now at the end of the year? What are they, 21st, 22nd in the coaches poll, 25th in the AP poll? A type of team that you could buy stock now and see them maybe 15-7 in that 7-15 range.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't go long on A&M just yet, as they say.
This weekend could go a long way, though.
If we were talking about this, if you told me that A&M is going to win tomorrow, then I'm thinking at least 10 wins this season.
Really? So if they win tomorrow, they're a 10-win team.
I think they will be. I do.
Do you guys agree with that? I want to get audience participation here. If A&M wins tomorrow, are they a double-digit win team? Is that a yes?
That doesn't sound like
I don't think they're paying attention to the show. She's paying attention.
This young lady does. Yeah.
She's paying attention. So, I don't know if I'm ready to go there just yet.
I am.
I want to go there. I want to. The reason I'm not ready to go to there yet is because sometimes I'm too much of a realist. And in my mind, I'm like, well, look at this SEC, right? Like, if Georgia can almost lose to Kentucky and Ole Miss can lose to Kentucky and South Carolina can just I just don't know how you can predict things anymore in college football. I think if they win tomorrow, they're a 9-win team. I do feel good about that. But I like that you're willing to go the 10 wins. I like that.
Yeah, but see, if they lose tomorrow, then I'm thinking, well, maybe they're an 7 or 8 win team.
Yeah.
So I think this Missouri is the whole Rosetta Stone of the A&M season.
I like the way you did
that.
Yeah, I do like that.
Stone.
Yeah.
But I guess you didn't open. You kind of looked at it. I don't know.
So I said this, I think, on the show yesterday, on the fan show, brought to you by Prize Picks, by the way, that I think tomorrow can be a portal, right? You win, it opens up this new gateway, this new avenue for A&M that we had been dreaming about that is possible. And look, let's be honest, we're allowed to react to real-time information. Like right now, the information that we have.
Right now.
Right? And if we're going to forecast to win tomorrow, that opens up a bunch of avenues that maybe you would feel difficult thinking of. You can think about them in the preseason, right? But when you're in the middle of the season, it's very hard to early on, especially with the way the season started with Notre Dame, to see that 10-2, 9-3 type season, right?
Yeah, I think the portal changes the way you look at it of what A&M can accomplish from possible to probable.
Possible to probable. And when you look at that schedule, okay, and again, we've got to focus on Missouri, and I think Missouri is going to be the most talented group of wide receivers that we have seen. Correct?
Maybe all year.
Probably all year. Who would be second? LSU?
No,
they're not the same.
Who would be second on that list? I'm trying to think. It's not Mississippi State. I don't think it's LSU. Auburn's too young. Might be Texas.
Might be Texas. Yeah. It's Texas.
Yeah.
It's got to be Texas.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately. So should I hit a break and come back, or do you want to join? Okay, Billy Liucci's going to join us here on TexAgs
The great
Live.
Billy Liucci.
Hey, buddy, what's up?
We go. They've been waiting.
Quiet.
They've been waiting for Liucci.
I mention Liucci or Pate, and people go crazy. I say, OB.
Hey, say nothing. Nothing. Crickets. Thank you.
Hi, Billy. How are you, sir?
Thank you, Charlie.
Good to see you here on the program. So can I ask you the question I asked him?
I don't know.
It's not a hard question. If you could buy a stock in a college football program right now, where we are with the information this season that you could see go up, and then what stock would you sell? Who would you sell? He said Oklahoma he would sell, and it was Kentucky he would buy.
Just for this season?
Just for the rest of this season.
I would buy Oregon stock because I don't think they've played great yet.
Good answer.
I don't think I think the Big Ten is very manageable for any good team, and I see Ohio State and probably Oregon with Dylan Gabriel and that offense, minus Evan Stewart, who's not really a big part of that yet. But I like the way Lanning coaches, gets his team ready, and you got Ohio State's going to Eugene next weekend. So buy now before they win that game next weekend and it goes way up.
Oh,
that's my thought there. Sell. He's just going to be talking the whole time, isn't he?
No lobby.
Brawny here. He's turned this into his own personal lobby. And then the sell.
Lobinger.
I'm going to sell. Someone said Texas. You could sell Texas if you thought they were going to be out of the playoff field. You know, like if you thought they were. See, to me though, even if they lose 2, they won't be out. So I won't sell them. I do think they'll lose a game here along the way, and people are going to celebrate prematurely. Give me some examples of who y'all sold. I'm going to sell Clemson.
Oh, really?
They're a top 10 team. And I think, no, let me rephrase that. I'm going to sell Miami.
Okay.
After what they did last weekend, and they're ranked higher than Clemson right now. At some point along the way, those two will meet, and I will go with Miami. Miami to be the one I'll sell.
Okay.
They should have lost to a bad Virginia Tech team.
Yep.
There was another game the week before that they were kind of struggling at halftime with. I don't trust Cristobal. I'll go Miami.
Let me give you one to think about, which is kind of ridiculous to say out loud, but Georgia. Just because they've already lost.
It'd probably be a good time to buy them.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Eventually. But if they still got some tough games on their schedule, quite a bit.
They do. I think they're a tougher team than they showed. But see, here's the thing. I think Texas beats them in Austin. I don't think that's a good matchup for Georgia. I don't think a good matchup for Georgia is anybody that can score a lot. We saw it the other day, and I said it prior to that game. I didn't like the way their offense was looking. So no matter, and look, it doesn't look like their defense is to the level that they can completely shut down an elite offense. You know, we all like to talk about defense because we love the wrecking crew, and I think to win championships, you better be pretty elite on offense, or particularly at the quarterback position in today's college football. And Georgia is neither. And their defense isn't such anymore, in my opinion, right now, this moment, this year, that they can go play Alabama, a Texas, even like a Tennessee. We'll see them against Ole Miss, right? To hold those offenses to nothing and win a game 17-14, 20-17. I think they need to score a little more. I mean, they might do it with somebody. They might be able to just out physical Ole Miss's offensive line, which I don't believe is that good. But some of those other teams, Tennessee, Texas, Bama, I think they'll score too much on them, and I don't think Georgia can keep up.
I got 2 more.
I'm not buying them right now.
I got 2 more to
I'm
consider.
not selling them either, though.
Missouri, LSU.
I don't feel like LSU anybody's talking about, so I don't think they're like overvalued right now.
Yep.
Maybe by their ranking they are, though.
13th in the AP and 12th in the coaches poll.
I wouldn't probably worry much about them. I think Missouri, LSU, A&M are all about the same level, in this conference right now. Is there anybody else that's in that level that you guys can think of? I think OU is going to fall below that because of their schedule.
Yeah, I agree with that.
South Carolina might be in there. We don't. Do you buy South Carolina this week right before they play Ole Miss? Can they, at home with a week off, with Sellers back and healthy, do you buy them against Ole Miss? Can they control the ball with that QB, Rocket Sanders run game, Sellers Sanders? So I'm trying to buy them because of Sellers.
Because of Sellers, I like the way you phrase that's like an OB line right there.
That South Carolina could be an interesting one, like for a short sell. A short buy. Buy it,
get rid of it,
sell it in a couple weeks. Yeah.
How about Michigan? Last one I'll throw out.
We're just going to keep doing that.
No, I just want to throw Michigan's a team that I don't think is as good as their ranking. I just don't buy it.
Where are they ranked right now?
11th.
I'd sell the hell out of them.
10th in both polls.
I think they'll lose to Oregon, although that'll be an interesting test of old school, run it down, kind of like the USC one. But I think Oregon gets them in November, and I think Ohio State gets them. I thought they would lose to either Minnesota or USC, and they barely won both, and you got to give Sharon Moore a lot of credit there. But yeah, I think they'll drop a couple more along the way. So if they're sitting at 11 now, no, I don't think they finish there.
I'm going to read this from Saturday Down South. Want to get you guys' thoughts on this before we hit a break. Missouri won't give up many sustained drives. The Tigers rank 11th nationally in plays where they've allowed 0 or fewer plays. They've also forced the 10th most 3-and-outs in college football. In other words, you better be able to create big plays to beat Missouri.
Okay.
So a little bit, I think I know where you're going to go with this.
Well, I'm just not sold on that because it's about the company you keep. They played Buffalo, which is terrible. They played Murray State. And then, they struggled with Vanderbilt and Boston College. So I was saying all those teams are ranked like, I can't remember, but 120th to 70th or something like that in rushing offense. A&M's 13th. How do you know that teams can't sustain a drive on them if they've just been playing teams that don't have the ability against most of their opponents to sustain drives?
Well, when I think of sustaining drives, I know there's more to it than this. You have to complete third down passes. But part of that to me is, can you consistently line up and run the football? Vandy has a good quarterback, Diego. They've got a good quarterback at Boston College, Castellanos. Dangerous runners, both of them. What they don't have is at the line of scrimmage, there's not a Trey Zune, there's not a Chase Besantis, then Coley, Armaj Reed Adams, who I hope can go this week. That's going to be a late, probably a today type decision. And then, the guys like Fothery and Crownover with their size and athleticism at tackle. They don't line up. And so if you're Missouri, you're physically, I think, in the trenches superior to Boston College and to Vandy when those teams have the ball. And certainly those other teams that Olin said. You can throw them around. You can out-athlete them. You can overpower them. That's not going to be the case on Saturday. And if A&M can overpower Vandy at the line of scrimmage, because we spend every week talking about what does this A&M D-line do to another team. If they can do that to Missouri and just kind of win the battle, maybe not just completely overpower them, but win the battle, which despite what Landon Jackson did to the Aggie offensive line, over the 4 quarters, they won the battle. It just took them 3 to get there, but they won it. I don't think Missouri can do to the A&M O-line what they've done to every opponent they've played so far. So to me, like Owen said, those numbers, they don't relate. They're not relatable to what, they don't carry over. There's no like transitive property there when I'm hearing it. This is Missouri's big test of the year so far. And because of their schedule, it's one of like 2 big tests they have all year. It's a massive game for them. They can beat an A&M team that finishes, and none of us want to hear this. They could beat an A&M team that finishes 7-5. If they win tomorrow, A&M's got 2 losses. You're looking at number 2 Texas on the schedule. You're looking at LSU, road game at South Carolina. You could see A&M losing 5 games if they lose to Vandy. I don't think that'll happen. I think Vandy. If they lost to Mizzou, I think they'd be looking at – I think they'd rebound because I think Elko's got them level and improving. Like they're staying the course and they're going to keep getting better. I think this is the difference. This game is the difference between 8-4, 9-3 for me for this football team. And who knows if they get momentum going, then you get LSU coming in here in a few weeks, we'll change the conversation. But if Vandy beats, let's say, a team that finishes 8-4, that might be their best win of the year. They could lose their second tough game and be 11-1. And the committee's got to look at that team and go, well, they're an SEC team that went 11-1. Oh, really? Well, they beat an 8-4 A&M by 3 points at Kyle Field. That's the high point of their 12-game season. That would be a fascinating – I don't think they'd get left out. But, damn, I think there'd be some teams with arguments on the outside looking in. And that's at an 11-1 SEC team.
At 10-2.
They don't play anybody. But I don't think it – I like A&M to win this game tomorrow close. And that's a spoiler alert. We'll talk about that later.
So at 10-2, if Missouri loses to Bama and A&M, I think it's Bama on their schedule, and A&M, do they get in?
I mean, you have to show me all those wins. What do they play? Kentucky? Would that? I don't believe they do. Their next best win might be Arkansas. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but it'd be close, man. That's a bad schedule.
So they have, after A&M, UMass, Auburn, Bama, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and it's loading up the last one.
Mississippi State, Arkansas.
So if they lost to Bama and A&M, and people are like, what's your best win? The big fight would be, well, is it over like a 7-5 South Carolina team, or is it over a 7-5 Oklahoma team? No, I think they'd be left out.
Yep, I agree with you. All right, we're going to hit a break here. Obi, thank you for sticking around for a little bit, buddy.
I almost wore that shirt or what?
Snaps?
Yeah, which would have been weird.
That would have been really weird.
We would have looked like a mariachi band.
Yell leader mariachi band. I agree.
Yell leaders, yeah.
We'll hit a break here. We're at the Angry Elephant in South College Station. Thank you so much, everybody who's been here. It's been great. Thank you very much. Right now, we're talking about Heritage Films. They're a documentary company that makes documentary films about families, family businesses, family ranches. Chance McClain is the guy who runs that company. He's a good, dear friend of mine. He's a very creative person. He started a radio station in Houston. He's done Broadway musicals. He's done movies. He's done a little bit of everything. Red carpet shows. He is just a really talented guy who's got many avenues. But this Heritage Film idea that he had a few years back, it's because he became good friends with Michael Berry. Michael Berry, who's a talk show host in Houston, wanted to do a documentary on his father who was passing away. He was very ill, and Chance got to capture those last moments. And Michael talks about it all the time, how important it was to be able to capture that and share it with his family. I did it with my father, who is 94 years old, still alive, doing great. And it's something that you all should consider, getting a documentary film about somebody important in your family business, your family ranch. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films. And we are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the program. All of our guests and callers will join us on the Boss Firearms Hotline. So I kind of feel like the Secret Service because I've gotten reports from all around College Station and right here at the Angry Elephant. I've seen Josh Pate. I saw him drive by. He just left. I saw him drive by again. People are giving me reports that Josh Pate is trying to park. Let's not make it awkward for when he shows up here. I'm getting reports on Josh already arriving, Billy. That's a problem. There you go. So Josh should be joining us here momentarily.
The only person in this building capable of making anything awkward.
Really? What? How do I make it awkward, Billy?
Like that.
By what? Sitting like this? Just like
yes.
you? Just like you.
No, you talking about Pate, and then you tell everyone not to make it awkward, then it makes it awkward.
That makes it funny. It's called comedic effect.
Comedic effect by David Nuño.
You don't think I'm funny?
You just laughed. I'm happy.
And you laughed too. So I'm a laugher. Why do people think I'm not a happy guy?
I don't think they don't think you're happy.
Intense.
Very serious.
Yes.
Very serious.
Yeah.
By the way, someone came up to me last night, took a few of the SEC crew out to went by the chicken after and I was walking by and someone stopped me and someone that's on TexAgs and blah blah blah, and then they're like, "Hey man, you got to give OB a raise, man. He's the man. OB's the best." And I'm like, "What about Nuño?" He goes, "He's too serious, man. Too damn serious. Never laughs." And I'm like,
that's exactly his quote. He's too damn serious. He never laughs. Even though I laugh every show.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of laughter, you know who's not going to be laughing today? Nick.
Nick is intense today.
When we go back and they have to discuss how bad the audio's been on the radio
Has
show.
it been bad?
Well, Zane, I feel like there's some kind of undercurrent of complaint. Nick should listen because I think there's this undercurrent of complaint that I move around too much for the mic.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like they're starting to kind of, what people at that office do, they try to rally up and blame. I feel like the blame's coming at me because I move around too much. And I'm like, I watch shows on TV. People move. People rate. They're crazy. They waving their arms. They're yelling. They're getting up. We need new mics. Nick, you're working at a disadvantage, and it's Josh's fault and Brandon's.
My goodness.
There you go.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Josh Pate has just walked in to the Angry Elephant here.
Stand up, Josh, but I don't want to break my mic.
So Josh Pate's going to be joining us here on the set at the Angry Elephant. And
I was late, too. So
he's not late. He's early.
Oh, yeah?
He's early.
Well, I was
How are you, sir?
I was late, Pate.
I heard the reports in the parking lot. I was gonna sit out there. I was gonna call my family. I was gonna give a little morning prayer, but then when I heard momentarily, that just means get inside.
Did you hear that people were tracking your every move?
I heard it. Yeah,
it's a little weird.
Yeah. Well, it happens for much different and much more frightening reasons in Nashville. So out here, it just kind of feels like home.
What are the reasons in that?
Are we on air right now?
Of course.
Yeah. So when we're not, I'll explain that to you.
Perfect.
Hey, I do want to get into some football for you, but you had something on your show recently of a young man who had anesthesia. Do you remember talking about this? And you posted a video of him kind of being, let's say, in another zone in the car. He's here.
Oh, is he really?
Garrett is here. I don't know where Garrett is. He's there. He is. That's the gentleman that you talked about on your show a couple days ago. So.
And a chalice of supremacy to boot.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
An early chalice.
Very early.
Like it.
Yeah.
It's game weekend.
So what do you think about this one with Missouri? What do you think?
Okay, so this is not the NFL. So you can get to week 5 or even week 6 of college football. Even in the SEC, you could get there and have these games that I would call profile busters, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ole Miss.
Yes, or Georgia last week. So I'm going to, we're in Tuscaloosa last week, and you're standing there, you're watching teams warm up on the field, and Georgia looks incredible, Bama looks incredible. So you've got the whole talking point, the profile talking point of Georgia hadn't allowed a touchdown all year. Then I watched Bama, boom, 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 boom. First 4 times they touch the ball, they're in the end zone. So all of a sudden that talking point means nothing, because as it turns out, until you face quality competition, you could be flawed. You may not be. Ohio State's the same. They may not be, but we don't know. Until you put water pressure against the dam, you don't know where the cracks are. I think I've said that every time I've ever spoken to David, by the way. So I was listening to you guys when I was coming over here. That's this game. Yeah. That's this game from Missouri. So it could be that we come out of this thing tomorrow, and I'll tell you what I think in a second, but I'm trying to give both sides. I think we could come out of this game tomorrow, and it could be 4:00 in the afternoon, and Missouri's on a plane home, and everyone's talking about them as having validated their existence as a top 10 team. All that stuff could happen. But what could also happen is just you have the profile buster game. I don't know that there's necessarily a scenario in my head short of -3 or -4 turnovers where, like, I see either team running it up on the other. Probably a hard-fought game, but it should be a roster game for A&M. Should be a line of scrimmage game for them. Yeah. Also, in totality, I know that a lot of folks are going to throw, again, the profile of Missouri's defense. They don't allow a lot of explosive plays or whatever. Everyone thinks about this right here when you talk about explosive plays. But it could just be Marcel Reed in the open field. It could be Le'Veon in the open field. Like that kind of explosive play. You don't need 9 of them in a game like this either. It could be 1 or 2. So where I landed was, I thought in totality, there's still a little bit more scaling up that this A&M team is capable of. Whereas if I think about Missouri, I think of them more as having their head sort of pressed against the ceiling of whatever their potential is. So I went A&M slightly. Now, what I hate about that is I did it on Tuesday, and unbeknownst to me, then like most of the rest of the country also picked A&M because I kind of thought people would want to be on Missouri in this game, and I didn't see many people on Missouri. But it happened with Bama last week and they won. So that doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. I hate being on the same side. I don't like company.
You don't want to ride the
Very
wave.
reclusive, yes. I want to be isolated on my own over here.
You are. I mean, I picture you just finding your way into open spaces on a football field, just staying away from the crowd, hovering by a goalpost.
What you got to do is you got to find those stadiums that have the elevated end zone, so you don't have to kneel. And there is, there's a little padded area, and you kind of lean on it.
Yeah,
kind of bend of the knee a little bit. Just look down when people walk by. Yeah,
you'll appreciate this story. A funny padded end zone story is A&M played Vandy in your town years ago.
So this is pre-construction Vandy.
Pre-construction, is it? Oh no, it's reconstruction. I was thinking we were going with a history lesson here. The Vanderbilts in the pre-construction era. So I was sitting there against the padded back of the end zone, and I'm talking to this young quarterback that had been benched the week before, and his backup came in, and A&M beat a bad Vandy team like 31-0. And we're talking, and then I realized we're the only 2 people on the field, which means the team, the head coach, the locker room, post-game, post-victory speech, and he's standing by me. And that was the moment I knew that Kyler Murray probably wasn't coming back to Texas A&M. There were like 2 games left still. And I'm like, aren't you going to be in the – No.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal.
Pre-construction Vandy. There you go.
All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break. We'll come back. We'll talk some deep stuff. And I want to find out what you're doing here in College Station beyond the game. I know you're super busy with things right now. Join the Association of Former Students at the Clayton W. Williams Jr. Alumni Center for a pregame party this Saturday, October the 5th, before the Aggies beat the hell out of Missouri. Grab your friends and join Aggies from classes of 2013 to 2024 for the Young Alumni Kickback. Tickets are $30 available for purchase at tx.ag/YA Kickback 24. The party starts at 9 a.m. It's going to feature all-you-can-eat tacos from Fuego, beer and seltzer thanks to Yeeling, Aggie Lemonade, music from DJ Bear, and Yell practice with former Yell leaders. After the party, sit with friends and the football game by purchasing a ticket from the reserve block for the Young Alumni Kickback. A link to the purchase discounted football tickets will be provided with your tailgate confirmation email. Don't miss out on the biggest party of the weekend. Tickets are available for purchase at tx.ag/YA Kickback 24. That is the Association of Former Students. Welcome back to the Angry Elephant in South College Station. Can I hear from my people? Thank you very much. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Carson Stein, who's working at Bryan Broadcasting, would be here to meet Josh Pate if he wasn't working. He goes, can you please tell Josh Pate that I'm a huge fan? And I'm like, dude, everybody here is a huge fan. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Except this guy, Ryan Broniger.
The lobster
hater.
You make things up.
He gets upset because I think it's pretty evident you bench press more than him.
I don't know that it's evident. I definitely don't know that it's evident.
It upset. How do you feel about short arm benchers?
I envy them.
You know,
on bench day, I envy them. It all counts.
How do you feel about people in the gym correcting your form? Like coming up to you unsolicited.
Okay, this has been a year since I've done that, at least.
It really all depends on their disposition.
Thank you.
Like Nuño can walk up to me and he goes, "Sir, can I tell you something?" And I say,
he does do it just like that.
I'd love for you to. I'd love for you to explain life to me, David. But then if you get the, "Hey, bro," no.
Yeah.
There are two different ways to correct one's form. Only one of them's right.
Nuño, I guess something in the wrong on this one.
If they have nice eyes and they look like they need help, right? You go to, "Hey, sir, let me help you with that rep. Let me show you what you're doing wrong."
And there's a difference in a guy looking through you,
yes,
versus looking at you.
Yeah.
Nuño's got it.
See,
he wrote the book.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Frankly, I think he just picks on the elderly.
That's actually true. It's usually the old guy.
82-year-old guy that's in there working out like way more than I'll ever do. He's in there in the gym, like getting an hour in at the gym 5 days a week.
Is he really though?
And he's lived his whole life, probably served in war or two, and built a family, a career,
brothers here,
got grandkids, and here comes this guy to tell him that he's not extending his arms all the way on a curl.
Let me tell you the truth. If you're going to waste time at the gym doing it wrong, why are you even there?
Yeah, even if your arms haven't been able to extend. Since the Reagan administration.
Exactly. Hey, and here's a text for you. I'm questioning if that is even Josh Pate. He's not wearing a white shirt.
Well, this one, look,
he's wearing Missouri's.
He's got runs in the shirt. I wear that thing so frequently. I go darks on the road, whites at home.
Okay.
Yeah, very simple wardrobe.
So I know why you're here, but kind of give us a little bit of what you're doing while you're here beyond the game, because you're quite busy.
Yeah. So it used to be we would travel in on Friday. So, I mean, we just get to pick whichever game we want to go to. So any excuse I get, I pick to come here. And so Missouri, we had it circled and no one else messed it up. So we get to come here. Made a point to do the show early yesterday so we could come here, got in late last night. So we do this bright and early. We're going to go meet with some of the staffers over at the facility after this. I'm going to speak to a class, which I'm told is closed to the public. Yeah, I don't control that. It's just I show up when they tell me to. And then probably going to lift after that. And then we will go. Who knows what the evening holds?
What time you lifting?
It's.
See what I mean? I didn't hear him say, "I'm looking for a partner."
I didn't say. I don't know if I want to work out with him. I like working out with you because, but never mind.
Yeah.
Look, the thing about partners is I hate them.
Yeah.
And so
I like this.
I never give a specific time. Like I'll write it on my hand. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about my workout partner right here. David, what time are you going to the gym? 3:00.
Yeah.
Okay. Shows up at 4:36.
Why is that not broadcast?
Because we're not partners.
That hurt. That legit hurt.
Hey, look, do you need me to be here for real?
I wouldn't mind.
It just doesn't feel like something I need to be a part of. I want to see it. I just don't feel like I need to be a part of it.
Can I get your thoughts on this whole quarterback situation, the way Marcel's played? I know that you were high on Connor before. Just overall the quarterback room and what the future could look like.
You, at the most fundamental level of this sport, you put the guy in that gives you the best chance to win. I think, like most people in this room or most people in general, assume that would be Connor Wegman at the beginning of the season. I remember vividly a thread over on TexAgs where I got drugged for calling the guy, I think I may have said injury prone, or maybe those weren't my exact words. I just wanted to see him play a full season.
You want to see him stay healthy.
That's it. I just want to see him under center or whatever. So that hasn't and has happened at various points in his career. So right now we know the deal. So Marcel comes in. You can either choose to put every single snap under the microscope and say, yeah, he did this, or yeah, they won, or you can zoom it out and say, but they won. And then I can look at, for instance, in the micro, I can look at this game and how I think you'll have to go about winning the game. And earlier in the week, I just kind of flippantly said, hey, man, if Wigman goes, like, that's got to be the guy who plays. And then I thought about it more and talked to some folks more whose opinions I respect. And I think maybe even if he's available, it's certainly part of your game plan. I think there are a couple of instances. South Carolina may have a situation like this week where your guy is cleared medically, but at the same time, you got two guys that you could do some stuff with. And so I don't know that we don't see that play out. Now, I'm sitting on a stage with guys who probably know more about that than me right now in terms of availability. So you can tell me, but in a general sense, let's just say both of them are available. I would be surprised, correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't see a situation where there's stuff in there for both.
Yeah, and I think the preference is to not, like, they really don't want to do that, but because where it's at right now, I could see it for this week.
Yeah.
It's almost like to me, this week is an outlier. It's not I saw somebody calling it on social media like a must-win game for Mike Elko and the Aggies. And this is Colin Klein's. He's got to prove himself Saturday. I'm like,
a referendum game.
Yeah, a referendum game in Game 6, and they're 4-1. It's like, no, but there is a tremendous amount of opportunity for A&M, as you know, if they win this football game. Like, of what this first year could look like. You look at the rest of the schedule if they get through this thing, and it's look, they're going to have some tough games, but there's not a juggernaut in the SEC on their schedule until you get number 2 Texas at the end. They don't play Bama, they don't play Georgia, they don't play Ole Miss, they don't play Tennessee. Man, you look at it and you go into a bye week feeling really good about where your season's at. With that said, bye week, then you can maybe figure it out.
Yeah.
My thing, Josh, is this. Like you were starting to make me really think when you're talking about right here, right now, the objective is winning the game. Who gives you the best chance at the? That's where it's so tough to me, because I think without question, right now, today, this is not an insult to Marcel. Connor is a much better passer. I think people, and I'm talking about executing in the passing game, not just throwing a football.
You didn't say quarterback, you said passer.
Passer.
Yeah.
And Connor, if that passing game can open up, what that could do with this A&M running game that's already been really effective. I can't imagine Le'Veon Moss with safeties backed up, but Connor was hurt in his first game. I think people, even in the A&M fan base, have forgotten how good that dude can throw the football because of how bad he looked against Notre Dame. But on the flip side, man, I've seen Marcel Reed for the last 3 weeks. I saw him go in the swamp. And it found out a couple hours before the game he was starting, and he looked like a seasoned veteran out there in that environment. And I saw him take the field with Bowling Green about to pull off the shocking season-ruining upset. He was calm as a cucumber, cool as a cucumber. They might be calm, too, but they're all cool.
The organic ones, though.
Yeah. See, he's funny. That's funny. That was hilarious.
You love to make me feel not funny.
So cool as a cucumber, calm, didn't make a single mistake when one would have you lose to Bowling Green at home in your first home start. And then last weekend against Arkansas again in the second half. That, to me, it's hard to take that out of the equation right here, right now, especially at home.
When you got new quarterbacks playing, the way I always choose to look at it is you could look at the Bowling Green game, you could pick out 50 different things you hate. And if I had an experience, if it was Carson Beck playing in that game, I'd pick it to pieces. But it wasn't. So what I choose to do is I put a different filter on those games, and I run that Bowling Green game through, and you win it, and all the crap falls down here. Here's the stuff I can keep. You just mentioned some of it, okay? And then the Florida stuff's in there. And so that keeps collecting, and hopefully you're building it to where I agree with you. That's why I didn't say the whole year. This, followed by a bye week, it almost reminds me of the way Michigan looked at the USC game. They looked at it and said, Warren, now this is relative because they don't have a good passer, but Warren's the better passer.
Yeah.
But we're not going to worry about throwing the ball in this game because that's not how we're going to win it anyway. So Alex Orji, doesn't matter if he throws for 32 yards, which he did.
Yeah.
We can still win. It gives us the best chance to win. If we just do what we know we can do against them, then we'll worry about the rest later. Now, as it turns out, he just ended up being their starting quarterback. That doesn't have to be the case here. But I think a healthy dose of Marcel Reed, if packaged the right way, probably gives them the best chance to win statistically tomorrow.
Let's hit a break. You have a short segment left in you?
Yep, I got it.
Thank you very much. Right now we're talking Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. They have complimentary pickup and delivery for their service customers. The reason I know that, we just took advantage of it this week. They also have free oil changes for the life of your vehicle as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Great trade-in value when you go there. You also get a great price point, and you're going to love the entire experience. They want to make sure that you know that is the place to go buy a vehicle here in the Brazos Valley or wherever you're listening to the show all around the great state of Texas or around the United States, which would be a little bit longer of a drive for you if you're outside of Texas. But regardless, they want you to know that they are there. Highway 21 in Caldwell. We're talking about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Back here on TexAgs Live, we're here at the Angry Elephant. Let me just tell Josh about this because I'm the hunter in the group here. I'm going on the TexAgs wing shoot November 6th through 8th, thanks to our friends at Bird Dog. It's going to be awesome. Chris Harrington, who played at A&M, is going to be there as well. 2-night stay, upland shoot with Aggie legends, guided hunting, skeet shooting, axe throwing, cold beverages, Aggie fellowship, live music from a country legend at a 5-star Hill Ranch. Tickets are $2,000 per hunter. Only 14 spots. Actually, only I think 6-7 spots are left. So make sure you go to birddogit.com/TXAGS hunt. All right, that is TXAGS hunt. All right, let's continue talking with Josh Pate here on TexAgs Live at the Angry Elephant. Josh, let's talk a little bit about that defense, because the beginning of the season, the defense was good, right? But I wasn't seeing the sack numbers, but there was pressure. Started seeing some sack numbers. Nick Scorton doing his thing. Missouri known to get rid of the ball quickly, which is what Notre Dame did, which is what Bowling Green did. How do you see this defensive line doing against that Missouri offensive line?
Well, the first thing I focus on, because of the style of play of your opponent this week, is tackling on the perimeter. Like, I actually think about DBs tackling in space, because that's the kind of stuff I remember so vividly. I think it was Bama coming in here in like 2013. It was the year after you beat him in Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
And I remember Gary Danielson, think what you want about him. I remember him making the point over and over again earlier in that game. A&M's going to have to earn the right to rush the passer, which means get 2nd and 7, 3rd and 6 obvious passing downs, and things where you have to have things that take longer to develop. And that's when your front can get after it. And they possess the ability to do that. Of course, the other guy knows you possess the ability to do that. So chief among their game prep this entire week or 2-week stretch has probably been, how much of this game can we play on the perimeter? Speaking of Bama, like, they did a lot of that against Georgia last week. Right. They didn't run the ball worth anything between the tackles. They had a couple of good runs between the tackles, and yet you think back about the first half and you think, wow, offensively they dominated that game. And they did. And they did it really without what should be their fastball, which is they got 2 stud running backs. They just didn't do much because Georgia took it away. Well, what they did is they found a ton of life on the perimeter. You just can't let Missouri do that to you. And if you don't do that and you funnel that stuff back to the inside, well, then they're in a place they didn't think they'd be, because I can promise you they believe they can do that. Like, they believe that is their fastball. They can get you spread out and then they can beat you that way. I'm not going to say it's an unknown, because unlike Missouri, we have seen A&M face quality competition. Like, you can say what you want about Florida. Those are quality athletes. Like, it's the athletic profile that they've been on the field with and they've seen. That's actually one of the reasons why I started to lean a little bit more A&M, is because I thought early down success when Missouri's on offense, I actually think that's a critical factor over the course of the game. I think, however the first half goes, 3rd, 4th quarter, like, that starts to tilt a little bit more towards A&M. And then that, combined with the line of scrimmage advantage you should have and the overall talent profile advantage you should have, I think that wins the day.
I think you're talking about the Arkansas game last week almost, because they came out, they hit that deep shot. It should have been a sack. That first drive should have been blown up. As the first half wore on, Bobby Petrino drifted away and started to get right what you talk about on the early downs. They couldn't run the ball. They started doing those passes to take heat off of Green. But A&M tackled well, and they kept Arkansas behind the chains. And as the game wore on, that pressure just got to them, and the Arkansas offense folded. So, yeah, I think that's why he's here. That's why he's paid the big bucks. That is the key, is winning early downs, but it might not – it's not run, 3rd and 7 you got them in. It's quick throw to try to gain 6, and if you can hold them to 3, right, then you stop the run, then you go after Brady Cook.
We got about a minute. Let me just ask this final question. Does this 4-1 feel different than last year's 4-1 for this A&M team under Mike Elko?
Yeah, no, it's unfair because I know the ending of last year's story, but it does only because you're at the birth of something right now. And so all of this is baked into, I can't help but think of context in 25, 26, 27, when I'm thinking about how this year ends. But Billy said it a little while ago. He's right. If you're in this and you win it and you're 4-1 going into the bye, all of the hope you have down the road is within the context of you were good enough to beat Missouri. Like, that's all baked into that pie now. And you trust yourself to be competitive, at least in any game you play the rest of the way.
Thank you for coming, man.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Always.
Yeah. And give it up to Josh Pate for coming. I'd love to show off our new studio at some point. So if you get a few minutes, come out of the TexAgs office.
You know I've got time.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, sir. Josh Pate, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back on TexAgs Live here at the Angry Elephant, the final countdown with the McKinney brothers. We'll get to your text messages at 979-693-1150. It's TexAgs Live. And we are back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. We are at the Angry Elephant in South College Station, and the great Josh Pate didn't know he was doing a meet and greet, but he's doing a meet and greet here on the show.
Hey, this crowd's here because of us, Steve. Good job, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've done enough shows here to know they're not here for us. I couldn't even find a parking spot.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming. How's everybody doing?
We're doing great.
Doing great, man. Excited about Saturday.
Just keep winning, baby.
Yeah.
Got a ranked opponent coming into Kyle Field.
I'm excited. It's a shame it's at 11, but we're going to rock the house anyways, right?
We'll take what we can get.
Hey, Steve, you're going to like this. We got to start with it.
I knew it. Yes.
I take Seth to the Astros game the other day.
Right.
Call him. Hey, you want to go to the game? Oh, yeah. So we go down, Astros Tigers, 1:30 game. One of my buddies calls, but between now and then, one of your fellow restaurateurs in Houston.
All right.
And he says, hey, Billy, what are you up to? I'm about to head to Astros. Oh, man, I was about to invite you. I said, oh, I'd love to. I'll come say hi. I'm going with one of my buddies. Well, we got 2 tickets. I said, okay, well, yeah, sure. And so we go down there. He says, we're going to be in the suite. My buddy just offered, I got 4 tickets to suite. He said whose it was, whatever, but I didn't assume that person will be there. We get up in the suite. There's people guarding the door, and I'm like, oh
no.
We go in, so I get the experience of watching Seth meet 50 Cent. And
Big Kurt.
it's Seth with, coming straight from work in a work attire.
Like a pink shirt.
Middle-aged man.
Tucked in with the khakis pulled up to here. Like 50 Cent had no idea Brian Dennehy had come back from the dead.
Tommy
and was coming in. So it was funny. And I was just so disappointed because he kind of up, in the middle innings kind of popped up and gave a little wave, like he walked by me and gave one of the, I thought he was just getting up to go to the bathroom. And then the whole rest of the group got up and they all left. So we didn't I wanted to have a picture of Seth.
I know. I wanted to have a real with him.
So you were just there for the wave to the crowd. And
get him off on P. Diddy, see if we can get some baby.
You probably would have done that. I would have 100% brought it up.
The new grinder.
Yeah.
Nick Grinder.
Get rich or die trying. All right. What's your favorite 50 Cent song?
Up in the club or something like that. I guess.
That's a good.
Couldn't even get his most popular song.
I would have said Many Men, but
Oh yeah, apropos for this being here at the Angry Elephant.
Many Men.
So I ended the segment with Josh Pate with something I want to ask you guys. All right, and Billy, I think you chimed in a little bit, but let's get deeper. What does it? I feel it does. Does it feel different this 4-1 start to last year's 4-1 start?
By the way, I love what's happened with Pate since we've known him.
He's blowing up, dude.
And no one deserves it more. There's not a better at what he does, B, better guy. This is cool for me to say. I really mean that.
He seems like he gives really genuine, feedback. There's no agenda, no bias. Like it just seems very authentic.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. I'll jump in on the 4-1 comments that I think that I like this start because we've actually played some quality opponents. I mean, I don't care what you say, Florida, Arkansas, SEC teams, Notre Dame. We had no business losing the game. We've already discussed that. And it was a one-person deal. But this 4-1 start feels really good because of our offensive line, man.
Yep.
That's a completely different feeling that I've had than the past 2 years, where you look at this group and they are truly performing great. If you go back, and Jim's been great, dude. Jim Turner has been great on your show.
Yeah.
And if you're like an offensive line nerd, you're loving what he's putting out because it's so detailed. And the film that he's showing, all of the guys were looking good, man. Crownover's making good plays. You look at Besantis, some of the things that he was doing was just, he's going to be in the NFL for a long time. This kid's going to be really, really good. And then you look at Zune, and of course you saw his stats with what PFF put out, but the offensive line is what gives me hope that this team can keep going in the right direction. They've been playing really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think the offensive line has been a strength of the team. I look at this 4-1, and you try to take the Notre Dame game, in context and understanding we had a different quarterback. He was having a very bad day. And since then, we've had a different look on offense. And we haven't quite figured out our passing game yet. And that's probably the thing that gives me a little bit of concern. going into this, schedule where we have to compete against some pretty good defenses. I don't think Missouri's one of those, but I know we got to get our passing game going. And I think tomorrow it's going to be critical to not just get the passing game going, but get the run game going early. We can't wait till the fourth quarter to run the football. We got to run it early, establish the run, and that's going to be what opens up the passing game.
I think we know with this A&M defensive line, they've been good all year, first of all. Second of all, they were great last weekend. And to combine that with what they're saying about the O-line, I feel good about A&M winning the line of scrimmage in most of these games they play from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
You almost isolate Texas. I still don't know enough about their D-line. And I think that Texas O-line versus A&M D-line will be a battle. But even that game as we sit here today, I think A&M matches up well in the trenches. I mean, I think they're fine in the trenches against the number 2 team. That part of where A&M will go on and on about where they're going to have a problem might be with that skill talent that Texas. Anyway, most of the weeks, including this one from here on out, I think A&M wins the battle in the trenches. Here's what's interesting to me, guys. Last year, A&M beat an Arkansas team that was pretty damn rancid.
Yep.
I think Arkansas is much better this year, first of all, than they were. I think they're better coached on offense with Petrino. I think they've got different weapons that make them a lot tougher to defend. That's a better Arkansas team, I think, noticeably. Second, the loss that there was no Florida en route to 4-1, right? They didn't go on the road in the SEC and win a game en route to 4-1. The other thing, the biggest thing, Miami whipped A&M's ass last year in that second half. They pulled away right before halftime. It could have gone a lot different. Miami built like a 15, if not 20-point lead in the second half. And here's the biggest thing. Against Notre Dame, I didn't see anything that made me go, man, that scares the hell out of me for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew, and there's no world that I think Connor would play like that every week. So nothing scared me for the rest of the year in that Notre Dame game, except in Miami last year, I was so scared about the A&M secondary and offensive line after that game. And that's what ruined the season and led to a coaching change. They were so terrible up front, and they were so terrible in coverage.
Right.
And both those things revealed themselves that day. I don't think there's a glaring deficiency. Obviously, the passing game needs to continue to improve, but offense as a whole, there's not something that I'm looking at right now and go, that can't get better. They are screwed against these 5 teams.
What does this?
That's how I felt last year at this time.
What does this offense look like if we start connecting? If A&M is able to start connecting on some of the passes, not just the fourth quarter of Arkansas, but if you see that, how does that translate for what Le'Veon can really do once they're not putting 8 guys in a box?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big issue is that you're only completing 55% of your passes. If we get that up to at least 60, 62 and a half, don't even mention 65.
Why'd you put that half in there?
I was trying to bridge the gap and not get too excessive, you know what I mean?
Not quite 65.
Not 63.
I was just like, but if you could do that, and we all mentioned it, not just the fourth quarter, but that's what great running teams do, dude. You break them down, and in the fourth quarter, the floodgates open up. It always happens with great running teams. And that's, I'm not afraid to say it. I think that's who we are this year is a great running team. And we've proven that game after game. And so hopefully we can keep doing that. And it gets even better if we can get some passes, you know what I mean? And you're so close to being a decent passing team instead of one that's just well below average. How about that?
Well, I mean, I think we could be a good passing team now. I mean, part of the problem is that we get off schedule.
Yep.
Either we're not running the ball well enough on first down, or we're getting dumb penalties, putting us in 3rd and long situations. I mean, as much as I like Marcel, he's not a pocket passer. He's not a guy that's going to sit back there in 3rd and long and pick a defense apart. But put him in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. Give him a chance. I'll promise you, he can make some plays there. So we got to run the ball better on 1st and 2nd down.
I think what happened a lot Saturday for a good stretch of that game when they kept kind of going 3 and out, and it felt like, damn, if A&M, I was watching an Arkansas guy talk about it. He said at halftime it was 14-14. The game felt like it was 28-14 A&M.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way. I was like, there were so many chances for the Aggies, even just going up 21-14 and getting the ball to start the third quarter, felt really like a strong position for this team, but they kept going 3 and out in the middle areas of the field. And I felt, Steve, like a lot of that second and third quarter, it was, and this goes back to how do you get teams out of this? They're daring you to throw it on first down. The alignment almost demands that you throw it, or you are going to be in 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 8 at best. They're demanding that you throw it. They're daring you to. And so A&M, Colin Klein was dialing up first down passes, or Marcel was reading the defense, and I don't know exactly what leeway he's got yet. But they throw on first down, it was incomplete, and that's why they were living in 2nd and 10. And then they wanted to get into 3rd and manageable, and they'd run for about 3 yards, and they kept looking at that 3rd and 7.
Pass, run, pass. Yeah, I mean, you got to mix it up, but we got to do better on first down.
Yeah.
Period. We can't be sitting in 2nd and long. That's not where we want to be as an offense, especially with a quarterback that's not going to sit back there and 3rd and long and do good. I mean, he's a one read quarterback. I mean, he has not been going through his progressions, period. I mean, you don't see it. It's one read, and I'm looking to run. Buy time, move around, and run if I can't find anybody.
And if, in a worst case scenario, if they are going to force you to throw the ball, just have a check to where it's like a built-in, this is what's happening, and we got an easy completion there. I don't know what the defense is going to give you, but it doesn't need to be just a typical pass where you drop back and let him read, just like what Steve was saying, but just dial up a pre-program, even if it's one of those, everyone hates the word, right? One of the jet sweeps or bubble or whatever it is, but just get something out there so you're at least at 2nd and 7, and now that's at least a manageable situation or something like that. That's what I would do.
The good thing is that our defense is so strong that, and we kind of knew that going into the season, that no matter how the offense was performing, that defense was going to keep us in games, and that's basically what they've done. When the offense has struggled, we're still in the game. I mean, Notre Dame, we're tied with 2 minutes to go because of the defense.
Yeah.
Arkansas, we're in that game because of the defense.
You scored 21.
Yeah. So,
and by the way, the defense essentially generated 7 of that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I found remarkable is that they were able to win a game with Marcel at quarterback, struggling passing the ball, and only running for 10 yards.
Right.
When you think of Marcel, he's got to use his legs. He was not able to use his legs effectively in that game.
He was he hung. I was the most impressive thing about Marcel Reed to me on Saturday was as they were going 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, 4-play, 5-play drive, punt. As that was happening, I never once saw it affect his body language. I never once saw it, an incompletion lead to a bad mistake. He didn't turn the ball over. And then, I mean, to me, he's sitting there on the goal line, a 1-inch line in the third quarter. I mean, the early fourth quarter of a 3-point game. And on first down, Colin Klein calls a pass. Marcel rolls to his right in front of me, fires a strike. And I saw how much he put on that throw. He fired it in there. Great. It's not a great catch, but it's not. It was a sliding, tougher than you think catch by Jabri Barber at the sticks. First down, move the chains. That play right there. Had he let anything that had happened earlier in the game affect him mentally at all, he's probably thinking way too much about that throw and doesn't make it.
Yeah,
that changes the whole game. Then you're at second, and it was an easy throw. But it was an important throw in that game, and it had to be perfect, and it was. And he just looked calm in the face of adversity the other night with a game on the line, and that just impressed the hell out of me because his demeanor, his pulse, none of that ever changed.
Yeah, that's his. To me, that's been his best attribute is that he hasn't turned the ball over, and he doesn't take a lot of sacks that I can think of. And so that's a huge situation for, despite the incompletions and things like that, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better and more efficient than that. Just manage the game, and that's effectively what he's done to a certain extent.
Could you see a scenario, Billy was talking about it earlier with Josh, where both quarterbacks potentially play in this game? If Connor's good enough to go, do you want to see Connor in this game a little bit?
I think you got to roll Marcel out there first. You know, you got to give him a chance to go. You see what he's doing. I think if he starts to struggle, we're not running the ball well, we're not throwing the ball well, you need to make a change. That's when you do it. But you give Marcel his opportunities because he's earned the right to keep playing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the dual quarterback thing. I mean, I'm not going to say that you don't have two. I think we do have two, but I just don't like the flow of the game. Even as a player, it's weird. I've been in those situations myself, and it just doesn't work as good as just one. Just dial up somebody and then hope that it works. And if it doesn't, then switch, but don't just be rotating in and out for no good reason.
The back and forth.
It's got to be for us to get a mark. That's the only reason.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back from the Angry Elephant in South College Station in a moment now for Rollo Insurance. My guy Morgan's right there. Say hi, Morgan. Just say hi to the people there. Morgan's right there.
Oh, I never even saw him.
Morgan takes care of me. Yeah.
Takes great care of me.
Does he take care of you too?
Through Dolores.
Okay. Yeah.
Dolores loves Morgan.
Yeah, he's great. He's fantastic. He takes care of OB as well. He's at Rollo Insurance. They are the ones to take care of you. They're an independent insurance company built around educating you on exactly what you're paying for, doing the shopping for you so that you can accomplish all your insurance goals. And on this spot, many times we'll say, you'll see the guys from Rollo Insurance all around town. Well, here's an example of that happening right now here at the Angry Elephant. So call them up, 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com. That is 888-44-ROLLO, rolloinsurance.com. Hey, we're back here at TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio at the Angry Elephant in South College Station. Greg Jasper's in the house. Say howdy to Greg, who runs this joint. He's the guy. Philip Vargas is with him, another great guy. Does not run this place. Runs a great household, though. Hey, gentlemen, I want to talk a little bit about where potentially Missouri could be vulnerable in this game, and where maybe A&M is vulnerable against Missouri. Just from what you've seen, read about Missouri, where do you think they could be vulnerable?
Go ahead, Seth.
I'll tell you what I like about this matchup versus Missouri versus last year's matchup, if you will, is that our defensive backs are playing so well against these great receivers, especially Burden. So, I think that if we're going to match up well with them and going to have to match up well and rise to the level, it's going to be at that position. And I know they have some good defensive linemen, but also that's where we've come up to. So Billy mentioned it. Our 2 weakest points from last year, dare I say it, like some big strengths this year. So I'm excited to watch this game.
I'm saying that our DBs have played really well this year, but they haven't seen this level of skill at the wide receiver position.
Not close.
Not even close. Right.
I agree.
So that'll be the interesting and important thing to watch. I think our D line could really have a lot of impact on this game. Our D line needs to get after these guys. We need to try to get these guys in third and long and just turn them loose, because that's how we protect the backside and our secondary.
Pate, I thought, made a great point, though, is what they're going to do with Brady Cook is what everybody's tried to do generally. It's just quick throw and make the DBs tackle in space on the perimeter and shorten up that second down, just like we talked about earlier with A&M. And so that's going to be my big guy to watch without question. Is going to be running back Nate Knoll. Like, to me, the former App State tailback.
Was he there?
I don't think he was there.
He didn't play. I read that.
They had the big back.
He was there,
game.
But he didn't play.
They had a big back that game that was wearing us out.
No research. I don't know.
Yeah, you did. That actually. He actually researched.
Yeah, well, I thought of that. Pretty good.
Hey, look at me. I'm no walrus either. My picks are up. My knowledge is up.
That was the most walrus pick.
By the way, he is just throttling you.
I blew it. I went opposite of him on every pick.
You used to pick like Ronald McDonald. Now I'd say you're picking more like the Grimace. You used to pick like the Hamburglar. Crafty, knew what you were doing.
No, I don't.
Scores, Esther score. Now you're the Grimace.
I'm just throwing darts at the wall at this point.
Hey, by the way, well played by him, because he is tied with Seth up top.
I saw.
Who is?
You in first place. Yeah, you know that. Yeah,
but I don't brag about it.
It's a long season.
I know that. I'm well aware of that. I don't get ahead of myself.
I'll be back at the top.
I had some people telling me on Twitter this week, "Oh, you've been real like Longhorns. You've been real quiet considering that you guys are 4-1." I go, no. I'm not getting chirpy yet, and I won't even get chirpy if they win this weekend.
Come on. We've earned some chirpiness if we win.
I think you play the long game in this thing, and you play it right up to the perfect time. Like, if they win 4-1, you're not chirping. They haven't beaten a ranked team yet. They probably beat two teams that'll struggle to get to bowl games. But I have been impressed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with the things you guys talked about. I'm impressed with the mental fortitude they've shown. I'm impressed with how much buy-in I'm seeing. And I think I'm impressed that I look at the areas that they can just continue to improve the rest of the season. And there's very few that I look at and go, man, they're not going to get much better there. Like, I think this O-line can just get better and better. The passing game will get better. When that happens, the running game in Le'Veon Moss will become that much more lethal. The secondary, I think they're just scratching the surface on what they can do. Now, will they hold up this weekend? I don't know. I think they'll hold up. I don't think it's going to be like an air raid, but can they continue to make good plays and force turnovers? That'll be my big thing this week. Can they forced 3 against Arkansas. They've been a turnover-producing defense lately. They got a big pick against Bowling Green late. They've been a turnover producing defense. Can they keep that up? If they do, they'll win.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I'll start talking.
I was going to say the thing that you would want to see out of the defense is to eliminate the big play. I mean, those are going to happen, but it seems to happen too often, and in every game. You know what I mean? And so we could eliminate just at least one of the big plays. I mean, the fake punt was just whatever. That might happen from time to time, but really that's what made last week even seem so close. It should not have been close. Those two big plays, it should have never happened, and they happened, and that's what made that game close. If we can just knock out one or two of those, that's it. Just like one or two of those a game, and the defense is a completely different looking beast out there.
I'm glad you bring that up because that's where Missouri struggles. They don't have a lot of big plays this year. Most of their plays are not big plays.
Because I say that not because I think it's going to start happening this weekend, but because they have individual players that have done it in that offense.
Yes,
it was last year.
And here's something. So Luther Burden, most of his balls that he makes into big plays are within 8 to 10 yards, and then he breaks tackles. So it's going to be very important what you brought up earlier, how they tackle in open space.
Did I bring that up?
Good point, Steve.
I thought that was Billy.
Well, okay.
I thought it was Pate.
It was somebody on this panel.
It was Pate.
I'll take credit. It's cool.
All right. Here's another thing I wanted to bring up to you guys. So Missouri gets the yards that they need 49% of the time, right? 49% of the time they were successful moving the ball.
What do you mean by that? I've read that too. So go ahead and explain that.
So almost 50% of the time, if they're trying to move the ball down the field, they're very successful. Where they struggle is inside the 30-yard line.
Did you answer that or no?
No,
I'm so confused. I'm sorry.
You sounded like like you're in a political debate right now.
I answer something else. Like half the time.
So what does that mean?
Use the definition.
Half the time they're able to move the ball effectively down the field up until they get into the opponent's scoring range, and then that connection drops to 25% once they get to the 30-yard line.
All right, this is not. None of that was helpful.
I think I get it.
I think Seth got it.
No. He just says they're good between the 20s. That's how we used to say that. Before we started trying to overnumber it, like that team's good between the 20s. They struggle in the red zone.
But this is a little bit further out. This is from the 30 on.
Okay.
And
the scoring zone.
And one thing that they do is settle on field goals way more. They get a little bit more conservative with their play calling.
Yeah, I like that, you know. If we can keep them out of the end zone, we're going to have a real good chance.
I think force a couple turnovers and force a couple of field goals.
Yeah.
Instead of touchdowns. And that's the difference in a lot. That's the difference in several points.
I think that's going to be critical. The way our offense has been scoring, we can't afford to be giving up touchdowns every time they're in the red zone.
Yeah.
But it does feel, if they build on what we saw in the fourth quarter of Arkansas, now that we know that Marcel seems to be unflappable, he keeps that composure all game long. If you can, God forbid, have two halves that are good football, right? Because we've seen the first half really good and the second half not so good. The last game was the reverse of that. If you can have a little bit more consistency from what we saw in the first quarter of games and what we saw in the fourth quarter, it could be a completely different feel to this Missouri game.
Yeah, if you're able to roll out and have games like he's had and like what you talked about, then it's going to be great, and that's what you hope for. And the fact that he's a young kid, that he can get there eventually. It just takes the reps, and I think that. I mean, he's building a resume, man. He's proven himself to be a winner, and he's taking care of the ball, and he's got the mentality to do the right thing. And he seems like a great leader out there. So I have a lot of hope for the guy, and I'm not worried. I'm not worried if it's him we're rolling out versus Connor. You know what I mean? I'm good with rolling out Marcel, and I'm excited about it.
I would just add that that Florida game felt really. I was very motivated about the future of our offense after that game. But that feels like an eternity ago. After the last couple weeks, I'll just say that they need to go out there and put up numbers like they did against Florida. I need that. What was that, 33 we put up?
26, though, on offense.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not scoring a lot. It's a work in progress, guys. Like, I know what we'd love to see with a starting quarterback going down in a completely new scheme and system. So what we love is the running game. We love the O-line, what they've done. We've loved the tight ends in the passing game. We've loved Le'Veon Moss and what he's looked like. We've loved Marcel Reed's composure and his ability to make plays. We just watch a change from a guy that a lot of people thought is going straight to the NFL quarterback after one more year to a freshman that had played one football game.
Yeah.
And so, I know what we all want to see. And by the way, we need to see it as the year progresses. But to not have seen it in the first 3 weeks, but seen enough to get you hopeful and excited, I think that's a good thing. Yeah. Now, what I do think you need to see this week, though, 11 a.m. game, they need to get the crowd into it early. Yes. A strong start to this one offensively will go a long, long way, I think, towards A&M winning this game. And by the way, all these fans, you're feeding into this. We're on radio. I want to cuss so bad right now. This BS propaganda, some of you guys are buying it. And because
are you talking about like the crowd noise?
The ticket sites show tickets available, and everybody is trying to I saw some jackass, you could say that, jackass donkey say, "Oh man, the stadium's going to be half full down there in College Station." Shut your ass up.
Nah,
it's not. And quit falling for it if you're Aggies. That. And these, I'm on with this younger group on group chat. Or a private, you read it, but I don't know what the deal, how Twitter works, but I read all this community, and everybody's infighting, "Oh, you young punks, go home to hang out with your mommies during fall." They're all scared of fall break. There's a certain group of people that are scared that fall break is going to keep the students out. Just go to the game, and if there's not people there, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
And I'm damn sure not going to sit here and worry about it all week and try to talk through my feelings on TexAgs and Twitter.
Yes.
Luke, you're one of them, Evangelist.
You will be fall there. Break. Come on.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that's worried about the other fall breakers. Well, he's home in Flower Mound. I can't make it to the game.
Sounds like you just talked your way through it today, man.
That's good.
I talked my way, and I shouted down the meek and timid. We don't have room or time for that at Kyle Field on Saturday.
That's right.
I don't know. Actually, we can get all the meek and timid we need in there, but just cheer, yell. I'm sorry, yell.
Be scared, but yell.
Don't cheer. Let your fear, come out in the way of yell practice.
There you go.
Hey,
so.
At the break, I'm going to read you a text that came in about you.
Good.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it here.
Well, tell them if they just show up at Angry Elephant in the next 20 minutes. I'm ready to whip somebody's ass.
Okay, you'll read it. Okay, I'll read it from somebody at Bright Broadcasting.
Somebody being nice.
No, they're just saying you can't use as a word.
But I could use jackass.
Probably.
I know you can.
Tricky FCC.
I know you can.
Yeah.
Hey, it's TexAgs Live at the Angry Elephant. Appreciate everybody coming in. By the way,
complimented earlier on how good the show was going. And somebody texted me and said, you should earn a medal today for dealing with us.
I don't think today's been that difficult. I think it's been good. Pretty good.
I feel like they haven't really brought much energy to my
Just give people props every once in a while.
I gave you props.
You did. Sorry. He's right. Sorry, guys.
I gave Pate plops.
Plops?
Pate plops. I gave Pate props. I gave you props.
Pate took a picture with everybody who wanted to take a picture.
That's right. This parking lot was full, so good for him. It's empty now because apparently we are not bringing any energy.
These are the real TexAgers.
And when Steve puts his glasses on,
I know. His reader. Everybody, hold on a second. Let me get my read, man.
So when
you need glasses, don't even act like
best not to be able to read.
When you're done hanging out at the Angry Elephant, hopefully you will come back this evening as well. You can go by the Costa Vida right down the road. Say hi to Holly there at Costa Vida. Fresh Mex done the right way. What do you get at Costa Vida, Billy?
Hey, put me on the spot there. Everything.
Okay.
I get the handheld burrito. I like the handheld burrito. I get it with I put a little enchilada sauce in it with chicken, rice, black beans, drained out. You got to ask him when you get black beans. You have to say, you got to do the hand motion. Can you drain them out real good? It shows them what they're supposed to do. You got to you don't get
You know, like the juice.
Nobody nobody likes bean water. Okay.
A little extra bean water in your burrito.
I don't like bean water.
We'll hold you down and make you drink bean water.
Yeah, bean water sounds bad.
Fresh Mex done the right way. Aggie owner and operator. Say hi to Holly in South College Station, 4501 Mills Park Circle in South College Station is Costa Vida. Thanks, Billy. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We are at the Angry Elephant in South College Station. About a half hour left in the show, which means you're probably 10 minutes away. Come on by and hang out with us for the last few minutes here of the program. I want to remind you guys that Aggieland Chevrolet is giving away 2 sets of 4 tickets with parking passes for the Missouri Texas A&M game this weekend at Kyle Field. To win, you have to comment TexAgs on a post, like and share, follow Aggieland Chevrolet on Facebook. Drawing will be held today at 5 p.m. Posted on Facebook. You must come by the dealership and pick them up, beat the hell out of Mizzou, and gig them. All right, gentlemen, it is now time for our Freak of the Week.
It's the Freak of the Week. That's pretty good.
That's good. I like it.
A little bit of energy.
A little bit. So who's going to start us off today? The energy that we talked about.
I'll go. I'm going to go with Nick Scorton, man. I won't. Go ahead, Billy. What? You always pick two. You not going?
Go ahead.
No, I'm picking him because we're going to need him, A, and then B, the build-up that he had after last week. I think that, what he did and what he finally showed is what, the reason that we wanted him so bad from Purdue. And that was great to see. I mean, huge plays, game-changing plays, and hopefully he can have that kind of impact on the Missouri game.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think he will have a good game. I'm going on the opposite side of the ball. Marcel Reed. He's, I think we're going to see a step forward. I think, last week and the week before, we saw a few little flashes, but we haven't seen anywhere near what we saw at Florida. And I think you're going to get the Florida version plus the confident version that you saw at the end of the Arkansas game. Coming home, it's 11 o'clock kick. I like that for them. And I think Marcel's going to throw the ball a lot better this week. I think it's going to clean up.
I like it, Billy.
On defense, I'm going to go, well, that probably is a sleeper. So let me go Freak of the Week. Defensively, I'm going to go. You went Nick Scorton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go on the other side of that line. I'm going to go Shamar Stewart.
Nice.
I thought he had the game-changing play.
Yeah, that was awesome.
On Saturday.
That was unreal.
I think he's playing great football.
He was balling.
I'm going to go Shamar on defense. Offensively, I think I'm going to go back to the well. And I think Noah Thomas has another big game.
Nice.
Another 100-yard game for Noah, back-to-back.
You've been glazing him for weeks, man.
Did Twitter teach you that word?
Hunter.
Yeah.
Goes home and teaches him.
Steve's got a high school kid.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, speaking of glazing, I'm about to go over there and get a glazed donut at Shipley's. When you put me in the parking lot of a Shipley's, there's going to be a problem.
A dangerous place.
Right before lunch, too. Nuño.
All right, now it's time for these.
You don't pick?
You never let me pick, because I've never picked. So I feel like it's Communist China. Sleeper of the Week, presented by the Sleep Station. Go see Jared McLeod and ask him.
Sitting with a couple of Tim Walls lookalikes.
I will leave for that kind of comment.
All right, I am not friends with school shooters.
Anybody Photoshop?
No.
This is the angry elephant, all right?
No,
donkey, all right?
Tempur-Pedic purple mattress in the Specs parking lot at Texas and Harvey in front of the Lowe's and William D. Fitch on Highway 6. Visit thesleepstation.com. Steve McKinney, you like this bar.
My sleeper this week is going to be somebody I don't think I've called this guy out at all, maybe ever. But it's time for him to
If you use mine, I'm going to be pissed.
I don't think so.
He just got another text from Brad Broadcasting.
Just kidding. Billy mentioned it earlier, how important it was for us to stop the run game. And my pick for sleeper is going to be Torian York. It's time for him to step up and have that big game that we haven't really quite seen from him in a while. So I'm hoping that he's locked in this week, and like to see him make a few tackles for loss. Get up there around the line of scrimmage, start balling, man.
That's a good one.
Get there.
I'm going to go with someone that I want to hope. I have hope for this kid, and I want to see him do it because I know that he can, and it's Terry Bussey. I want to see him actually step up and not step up, but just make a play. I know that he's got it in him, but that's just really what I want to see, and hopefully it happens, because if it does, then that's be huge for us.
Just one big play would be great.
Speaking of one big play, I'm going to call for a Dalton Brooks interception this week. Like a Dalton Brooks pick.
Another Blazer.
A what? Yeah, it's worked. Did you see him last week?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see Bryce Anderson go for the pick six when I glazed him? against Florida. That was my pick. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see Le'Veon or Noah Thomas go for 100 last week when I picked? I'm on a roll.
You are.
And with my roll, I'm going to go with Dalton Brooks with an interception. And my sleeper of the week is a guy you guys probably don't even know is on the team. He wears number 18.
Who's that, a tight end?
Nope.
18.
Seth?
I mean,
did your homework turn this one up?
What side of the ball?
Cassius Howell.
Oh,
almost had a pick
defensive
six.
end. Almost had a pick six last week. I think Cassius Howell gets to Brady Cook a couple of times on Saturday.
He's a dude, man.
Hey, we are on track. So we're going to hit a break here.
Wow.
We're going to do pick six. Last time we were on track, we were 45 minutes late. This time we're going to finish on time.
Let's go.
Right now, Lewis Engineering, a machine shop located in Marshall, Texas. They want to become your premier metal fabrication supplier. They've been around for a long time, 1961. Lewis Engineering has supplied the Defense Department, aerospace, automotive, and oilfield industries with quality metal components. You have Doug Lewis. He's an Aggie. He's a great Aggie, class of 2004, fourth generation to own and operate Lewis Engineering. His great-grandfather fought in the war and started it. A few other services include CNC machining, stamping, assembly, welding, plating, painting, salt spray testing. Lewis Engineering is a certified company who takes care of quality and on-time delivery seriously. Feel free to call Doug right now to get a free quote, 903-938-6754. That is 903-938-6754. Visit them online at lewisengineeringco.com. Welcome back into TexAgs Live here at the Angry Elephant in South College Station. Thank you so much for everybody coming in. It's time to end the day with Double Dave's. Caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They have been serving Aggieland since 1984. They have your favorite pizza, your favorite world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. It is now time for the Pick 6 presented by Prize Picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly. When you play $5, you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. Is guaranteed. Go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to receive that guaranteed $50 once you play those $5 lineups. Ladies and gentlemen, the top of the leaderboard, Billy Liucci. Last week and all season long, and Seth McKinney, both went
alphabetical order,
and Caroline Fenton, all three went 5-1 last week. But tied for first place, Billy and Seth. Third place, Jamie McCoy, and then the rest of us are in fourth, fifth, and sixth, and seventh place, apparently. All right, so I don't know how that's possible. We only have 6 of us doing it, but apparently we have somebody tied for 7th.
I think that's Olin not do it anymore.
He is doing it.
We have 7.
We have 7 now?
1, 2, 3, 4. Caroline Fenton, Jamie McCoy, Olin Buchanan.
Oh, that is 7. Good. Billy, ladies and gentlemen. Luke Evangelist, your biggest fan.
A&M education.
But just so for everyone's knowledge, Steve is sole possession of 6th place out of 7.
All right, I went 1 and 5 last week. So let's not act like I've been there all year.
I think I was 2 and 4. I was right there with you.
Steve's the Mississippi State of.
Well,
he loves cowbells.
2 years ago, Steve won it all.
Yeah, thank you.
Last year, I won it all, and we're both almost in last place. So there you go.
All right, I'll be back.
Week 6 games. Auburn 2-3, 0-2 in the SEC at Georgia 3-1, 2:30 start. Sanford Stadium. Ready? Streaming on ABC. Georgia favored by 24.5 points.
Yeah, this is Georgia's going to be upset. I'm picking them to do this deal, win and cover, of course.
Okay, I'm going to pick Auburn to cover. I think Georgia wins by like 21, though. Be my guess.
Yeah,
they're mad. I don't think you understand how upset they are.
Yeah, I mean, they very well could blast them, but I mean, that's a rivalry game. It's hard to see a blowout that bad.
I kind of agree with Steve on this at so many points, but I'm trying to think of Auburn and their ability to score or not score against Georgia.
How about their ability to stop?
I'm going to go Auburn to cover. Is Ryan Clark wearing a suit that's half pink, half gray, or am I? I'm looking at it. Anyway, I go Georgia.
It is half gray, half pink.
What the heck?
I go Georgia over. I go Georgia to not cover, but win by 17 to 21 points.
All right. The second game, Ole Miss, number 12 in the country, 4-1, 0-1 in the SEC at South Carolina, 2:30 start. ESPN broadcast. Ole Miss favored by 9.5.
Well, I don't like Ole Miss, so I'm going to pick South Carolina. Maybe not to win, but to at least cover.
Okay.
I want to pick South Carolina too, but I'm really trying to gain ground on Seth now. I'm about to dig myself another hole. Give me Ole Miss. They win by 10.
I took Ole Miss too.
I'm taking South Carolina to cover. Ole Miss to win.
Okay.
Who's the quarterback for South Carolina?
Sellers should be back.
Should be back.
That's
the way Pate said it. It's like back. He said he could see both quarterbacks playing.
I like South Carolina to cover. Their defense pretty good. I like them to cover at home.
Here's another big game.
With an off week.
I want them to win. I don't think they will.
No.
Iowa's 3-1 at number 3 Ohio State, who's 4-0. 2:30 start. Ohio Stadium, CBS broadcast. Ohio State favored by 19.5.
I'm picking Ohio State on this one.
Wow.
Ohio State at
Iowa.
At Iowa?
No, Iowa at Ohio State, according to this.
Good. Yeah, give me Ohio State. They win that by 3 touchdowns.
Very somber segment, by the way. I feel like we're.
I know. I'm telling you, Seth came in, and I think.
Oh
really,
my word!
You did. You're all stopped up.
No, it's just
I think I'm going.
Funny some flow days.
I'm going with Notre Dame in that one. I'm going with Ohio State to cover.
Look, here's the deal. I don't know enough about either of those teams to just sit here and ramble off who's going to do what.
Yeah, break it down.
Ohio State.
Break down Iowa's offense for us.
All right, I'm gonna
21 points though against Iowa defense that usually is strong.
Right. See, now we're thinking
28-7. Could you see that score?
I can see 31-10. I'm going to Ohio State.
All right, I'm going to match the energy. Number 4.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Oh, the old switcheroo.
I'm going with Iowa to cover Ohio State.
That is what I did, Billy. Number 4, Tennessee. They're 4 now. At Arkansas, who's 3-2, 1-1 in the SEC. 6:30 start. Razorback Stadium. Tennessee favored by 13.5.
Hey, we should have beat them by 13.5, and I think Tennessee's got the offense to put up that many points. So aggressively, I'm going to pick Tennessee to cover.
Hate this one.
Mm-hmm.
At Arkansas, man.
Night game
at Arkansas.
Everybody's going to be sleeping on the hog.
Freshman quarterback coming in.
Place is going to be rocking.
Give me Arkansas to cover.
Give me Tennessee to cover.
It's going to be a big week for Steve.
Billy he was just egging me on the whole time.
That's what if I wouldn't, I'd be in first place if I didn't let you change my mind.
I think that would be a competitive game, but I'm gonna go.
I feel like I'm gonna go 1-5 again this week. This doesn't even feel good.
Number 10, Michigan. They're 4-1. They're at Washington, who's 3-2. 6:30 start. Husky Stadium. Washington favored by 1.5.
Man, I just don't think that Washington is terribly good this year, and I think Michigan is, decent at least. So I think Michigan's going to cover this.
Mm-hmm. What's Washington 3-1?
They are 3-2, 1-1 in the Big Ten.
Who'd they lose to?
Rutgers.
Undefeated Rutgers.
At Rutgers. 11 o'clock
conference game.
Old Jed Fish.
One of my
Aggieland's favorite, TexAgs favorite. They wanted a Georgia defensive coordinator who's getting his pants pulled down and by Kalen DeBoer, and then they wanted Jed Fish because people told them Jed Fish was the next Nick Saban, and they believed it.
It's so funny because he was a tight end coach when I was.
You were not on board with that.
I just thought it was hilarious how people were acting like he was going to be such an amazing Nick Saban type coach. I was like, Jed Fish?
Well, what are y'all talking about? That's what I said about Kirby Smart, because he was like a quality control guy at the Dolphins when I was there.
You were laughing like, what a stupid hire. Oh, my gosh.
Kirby Smart. Seth laughed at him in the Dolphins building, and because of that, I'm changing my pick to Georgia.
Georgia it is. Is that official?
Is that official?
That's hilarious.
Auburn almost beat them last year. It's so hard for me on that one. Let's go back to what we're talking about. I like Michigan to beat Washington. What was that spread? Washington favored by 1.5?
1.5.
I like Michigan.
I'm going Washington. I'm going to stick with the whole 1-5 deal.
Yes.
That just feels
right.
like I got to go for it.
Yeah, I like it.
I got nowhere to go but down at this point.
I like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last game of the day, number 9, Missouri. They're 4-0, taking on number 25, Texas A&M. They're 4-1, 11 a.m., Kyle Field, ABC broadcast. Texas A&M favored by 1.5.
Look, here's what I think is going to happen.
1.5.
Dang.
1.5.
According to the most recent ones that were put on my rundown.
I think that Marcel is going to have an efficient game, and I think he is going to increase his completion percentage. And I think that our defense is going to eliminate big plays, and I think we're going to win this game, and I think we're going to cover. Boom. I'm going to say 10 points.
I like the way you're operating.
Wow.
10. Okay.
Wow. Seth?
I think A&M is going to cover as well, but I think it's going to be more of like 3-point cover.
I do too.
I think it's going to be a super close game all the way to the end, very similar to like what we saw against Notre Dame.
Bowling Green, Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a miracle happens and we get a pick 6 to go up by 10 or something at the end. But
you gonna call it?
Call it that a 10-point miracle.
10-point miracle is what I'm calling that. I'm saying we win by 3.
Win by 3, Billy.
I agree more with Steve than Seth on this one, but I agree with both of them in that I think A&M wins, pulls this one out. I think it's in the 27-23 range, a little higher score.
Oh, some scoring.
4 points, not 3. I've been going with 3. I'm going with 4.
Okay. I think we're done.
I like it.
Anything else? Any final commentary before we say goodbye?
Or did we go long?
We went 4 minutes long,
Oh,
which is very short for us.
Yeah.
But I got to get to an interview at the TexAgs Studios. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate you.
My pleasure. No problem.
And thank you to everybody here at the Angry Elephant. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thanks to the Angry Elephant for being here or letting us be here.
Thank you, guys.
We will see everybody with the mics in the background going crazy.
Yeah,
on Monday.